Ordered after the war, master race. The history books they tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. While Sesh remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell, of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Street where the lion runs to be, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell would come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with this chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Delray, from the green and lovely lace of Gilshandra. Tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2, like the Zulus they had knives, bows and arrows. Of how brave you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway, from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra.
Hello there, hello there, hello there, chitty chats and kitty cats. How are we all? I hope we're well. I woke up 2 hours ago. For those unaware, we stopped streaming last night. I think it was about this morning I should say, about 5:30 in the morning. And you can't get to sleep straight away because you've still got kind of there's a certain sort of low level of kind of adrenaline or whatever that when you're live. And so, yeah, I didn't get to bed till about 8, I think it was, something like that. So, yeah, that happened. That was a thing. I remember some of it. I remember the result. So, you know. We'll get to it. Trust me, chat. We'll get to it. But yes, so bear with me because I'll be honest with you. Outside of just checking the BBC to check whether Starmer had resigned, which obviously not. Yeah, I don't really know anything that's happened. Apologies if there's a war started somewhere that I'm unaware of. It's not great as a political streamer to have to admit it, but literally I don't know what's happened today. I don't have a fucking clue. What the Phantom of Black, what the fuck are you talking about? I genuinely love it when people in chat just post some random shit that obviously has nothing to do with anything ever. What's this? When I... Okay, I don't know the context for this, other than it's some sort of video game, I think. When I recreate the world, I'll give the means of production and distribution to the working class and form a true free market economy. Ho. Don't know what that means. You can say Japanese things at me all you like. I don't know what that means. Join us over at Turn Left, Kev. What do you mean join you? What, as in they want me on stream, or do you just mean because I'm already like with you in spirit on Turn Left? I've been on there many times. What? Pakistan and Afghanistan are now at war. Is that true? Fuck off. Yunichi Inamoto is a fine Japanese reference point. And there's fuck all about it on the BBC, but then again, it's the BBC, I guess. Are you sure? Oh, they're actually... Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Okay. They actually are at war. Pakistan declares open war on Taliban after bombing cities across Afghanistan. Oh, cool. Awesome. That's great. Fantastic. Lovely. Wonderful. Fucking cunts. Anyway, chat. Chat. I'll do my quick shilling bit at the top of the show, especially for all the new people, because not only did No Justice MTG have more viewers than the Tories got votes, literally true, by the way, we'll get to that, but she very kindly told them to go my way and push them my way, and I got like 200 new people on YouTube, which was fucking dope. So hello to new people, if any of you are here. Anyway, yes, I'll shill. Yes, you can hit the follow button on Twitch. It's free, right? You can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can gift. You can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account for free, and you get one free subscription every month, which you can use to give $5 of Jeff Bezos's entirely unearned and undeserved wealth to a streamer of your choice each month. Now, there are others who deserve it more, certainly, but there aren't many more who need it more than I do. So, you know, throw your Bezos bucks my way if you want to. You can also give subs to the community. You can do bits messages. 200 bits or more will get you a text-to-speech, because I've just turned the noise thing back on until Gennaro Gattuso annoys me more, and I turn it off again. But until then, you can have it read out by the machine. If not, I'll read it out if I remember. And by the way, apologies to anyone who did a thing, who gave me money yesterday and I missed it. It was not purposeful. It was not a personal slight against you or your generosity.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
And it starts. It was the fact that I was so much more tired than I'd ever planned on being on stream. Because I'll be honest with you, I wanted to turn up and do question time and then go to bed. And No Justice was like, oh, we should stay up for the results. And stupidly thinking, in my head, I'm still 21 and I can do that. I can just stay up till 5 in the morning and that's just normal and fine. It's not fucking true. I'm a fat middle-aged man now. I can't fucking just do that. Like, I could stay up till 5, but I'd have to, like, I'll probably stay up till 5 tonight because I've slept correctly for that time period. And that's it. You know? But anyway, yeah, so I was extremely tired. Anyway. Hello there. Yes, you can do bits messages. 200 bits or more will get you a text-to-speech. You can do super chats via the Streamlabs link below. $2 or more, they will get you a text-to-speech. I've got Patreon and PayPal.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
I've got one sound alert, apparently. I do need to mix that up. That's... Anyway. Like, it's a funny clip, but I've heard it like a million times now. And I
sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Is this the earliest I've ever turned it off? Possibly. I don't know. Anyway, you can't have a text-to-speech anymore, but I will read it out unless it's extremely racist or something. Anyway. Fuck me. This is lasting longer than it usually does. I said, I'll do a quick shilling at the top of the show. 10 minutes later, I'm fucking halfway through. Right. You can do bits messages. I've got Patreon and PayPal. Super chats. I've got YouTube, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I've got a Discord you should go and follow. If you're on YouTube, hello the fuck YouTube. Hello. You can hit the subscribe button for Nout. You can thumb the video up, helps in the algorithm. You can hit the bell icon to get notifications occasionally, although that doesn't always seem to work because fuck it. YouTube is shite from start to finish in virtually every conceivable way, but there we go. You can become a member for 99 of your English pence, or British pence, I suppose, technically, whatever, pence sterling. Which isn't enough to buy you a Freddo in some places, which honestly is a core. Like, I am disgusted that there isn't like a revolution over that. I thought if anything would bring the people of Britain out onto the streets, it would be a £1 Freddo bar. Disgusting. You can give memberships to the community. You can do super chats and super thanks and possibly other things. I don't know. That light's actually quite bright today. I think it's because I woke up relatively not that long ago, and my eyes still haven't quite adjusted to the brightness of the light. So I'm sort of squinting, which, you know. Kev, check my link. Okay, I will do that because I have no agency of my own. Oh, okay, we're doing some Yank stuff, I guess. Okay. So that's Kid Rock on the right, which is bizarre, and your man there, old fucking Whalehead McGee. Name this band. Rage Against the Vaccine, nice. Meth Lab for Cutie. That's actually exceptional. Meth Lab for Cutie. That's very good. Hillbilly Vanilla, nice. Septic and Garfungal. 30 Seconds to SARS. True. No, the best one there is Meth Lab for Cutie. That actually legitimately works. Legitimately. Right. Let's not fuck around. We've done shilling and all the rest of it. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do at all, is it? There we go. Right. So, we're going to be talking not so much about the actual election itself, because I found, chat, that if you want serious actual political analysis, you've got good channels like No Justice MTG and Turn Left. You can do that sort of stuff there, right? I am here as an annoying cunt to drink the tears of people who annoy me. That's what I do, right? I do silly memes. I do jokes. I literally didn't even listen to the last few candidates' results being read out. As soon as I knew that she'd won and it had been announced, I crab raved like a twat last night at 5 in the fucking morning. I remember that much. Because I had to literally say to myself, right, you're so tired, Kev, but you have to put some amount of energy into the fucking dance, otherwise it's not going to work. You going, isn't going to work. You know? You need to actually fucking throw some energy into this shit. And I did. And it damn nearly killed me. But I survived. Anyway. So that's what I do, right? So I'm going to be talking around the election. But just so everyone knows, just so everyone is aware of the actual result, here it is. Although me as a crab is in the way now, but there we go. Right, so Gorton and Denton, a seat in Manchester, was won by the Green Party.
Epic dub.
Quite so. And it wasn't even close, right? It wasn't even fucking remotely close in the end, okay? They won by 12%. Now, the poll of polls, which is what I go by in virtually every election, because you're going to get outliers in terms of polling, but if you coagulate all of those results into one general average, that gives you a pretty good idea, I think, of where the polling is at. And so the poll of polls had something like Green 29%, Reform 28%, Labour 26%, something like that, right? And I suppose in terms of the other two, they were not far off at all. But they were massively off in terms of the Green Party, who got nearly 41% of the vote. Which is genuinely exceptional. In a seat where they got like fucking, 13% in the previous election, less than 2 years ago. Where the Labour Party got over 50% in that election. And the Green Party came like basically nowhere. Is a phenomenally impressive result. Hannah Spencer elected as a Member of Parliament, which is dope. We'll get into her as a person in a second. And yeah, I mean, well done to the Green Party. Not just to Zach Polanski for being a genuinely sort of galvanising leader, but to the Green Party in general, who seem to have gotten their act together in terms of their ground game. Now, that's not to slag off the Green Party in the past, because you can only work with what you've got, and they didn't have enough people. And so Zach Polanski and the kind of more aggressive approach that he has taken, which we'll get into in the kind of meme section of the show later, has brought more people to the Green Party, not just as supporters or voters, but as members and active participants, to the point where they can throw a lot of resources in terms of human material, but also money into fighting a by-election. Now, whether that will necessarily be able to translate more broadly to a general election will be interesting to see, because there's no doubt they're going to get a significant proportion of the population in terms of voting. But how that will translate into seats is going to be interesting, because you're not, of course, going to be able to just throw all of your resources into each seat, because there are 600 fucking seats. Sorry, 650 seats, aren't there, in Parliament? Now, let's take out the Northern Irish seats, which they're not going to stand in, and technically we're talking here about the England and Wales Green Party, so you can take out those sort of 60 Scottish seats. But that still means you're going to have to fight 400 plus seats. And so the sort of worry, I suppose, might be something along the lines of spreading yourself too thinly. What you need to do is, sort of bizarrely, more of the Lib Dem approach. Not politically, not in terms of policy, in terms of targeting specific seats in specific areas where you have the best chance of winning, to try and maximise the raw vote that you're going to be able to get. That sort of thing. It's not going to be remotely, I think, possible to form any kind of government as a majority party, anyway, for the Green Party. But what they can do is definitely become like a genuine, sizable force, not just in terms of the national politics, which they already are, because they're, I think, probably already the second largest by membership. We don't know, because the Labour Party stopped publishing those numbers. So embarrassingly bad are they for the Labour Party. So they're probably the second largest in terms of membership already, and they're clearly a major political force, because they've now got, was it 5 members of Parliament, and have just won a genuinely historic by-election in the 9th or 8th safest Labour seat in the country. So they genuinely are a national force. But in terms of the Parliament, and therefore their actual effect on the day-to-day governance of the country, and that's huge. From where they were even a year ago, is a massive, massive step forward. Incredibly impressive. And they should be very proud, I think, of all of that. The Reform Party, look, we'll get into some of the Schadenfreude of it, as the title suggests, in a second. But in terms of the analysis, the Reform Party, like, it's funny that Matt Goodwin lost because he's a fucking shitebag who doesn't belong in Parliament or Manchester or, frankly, the human species. But, you know, it is what it is. The Reform Party can, I think, take some satisfaction out of this. They didn't win, and they didn't win badly. But they shouldn't have expected to win. The fact that they were in a position where they took second place from Labour Party, less than 2 years out from the Labour Party getting over 50% of the vote, is an amazing achievement in of itself. It's disgusting and worrying, because they're a fascistic set of racist cuntbags, as we're going to get into, because their whole excuse after this is the Muslimics. Ridiculous shit. Anyway, but they came second, and this is genuinely existential for the Labour Party. And good fucking riddance to them, the pricks. Labour's Rome. You're Austrian. I don't think you get to do that joke, Fogel. Too soon. Too soon. Anyway, yes. Yeah, the Labour Party are genuinely hold below the waterline at this point. If they can't keep hold of seats like this, and not just lose, like, narrowly, but to get eviscerated like this. They lost half of their vote They lost 1 in every 2 people who had voted for them less than 2 years ago. That's a cratering. If this is repeated across the country, they are genuinely in danger of not even being the 3rd largest party in Parliament. They're definitely not going to be like I don't think they're going to be able to win the next election. Certainly not outright. But they've got to be at least aiming to be the opposition. And they might not even come fucking 3rd overall if this is repeated across the country. That kind of swing against them of a quarter of the electorate, a quarter of the entire electorate who did vote for them, just not voting for them. In some seats, that would of course mean that they would get minus votes, which would be very funny. But, you know, averaged out over the whole country would be wipeout territory. They'd be lucky to get double figures in Parliament. Which is, you know, the worst result they'd have had in 120 years or something, you know? Back when they were basically a new party. And this is the adults in the room. This is the fucking adults in the room. This is what you wanted, you fucking stupid bastards. You wanted a sensible. And this is where your sensible, stupid, technocratic nothing governance gets you, you cunts. The fleas bit back. Fucking idiots. And just as an aside, not that it really matters because they're a dead political force, but the Tories losing their deposit. The Tories losing their deposit so badly that even if their numbers had been tripled, they still would have lost their fucking deposit. Inject it directly into my penis. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This is the best outcome. I literally said that at the start of yesterday's stream. This is the result I wanted. The Greens win. Labour get fucking knocked out. The Tories lose their deposit. The Reclaim UK guy literally got fewer votes than the Monster Raving Loony Party, who specifically ask people not to vote for them. Literally, they have like a kind of joke thing in their party where there is a punishment. It's not like a bad pun. It's like you have to buy a round of drinks or whatever. I don't know. If they actually retain their deposit, which, by the way, for like Americans or whatever, you have to put a deposit up to stand in an election. And if you get 5% of the vote, they give you a deposit back, right? And I think it's £500 or something to stand in an election. And it's to stop like too many like joke candidates standing and stuff like that. But if you get 5% of the vote, it's, you know, you get your money back type thing. And so for a major political party to not to lose their deposit is like a symbol of real embarrassment. And so for the Tories to not even get close to getting their money back. It's very good. It's delicious. I love it. Anyway, who do you want to win between Villa and Wolves? Well, Wolves. I hate Wolves, but the Villa are not human. So, discrimination against the Revolutionary Communist Party. True, they did. They did also stand. Didn't they get like 47 votes or something? God. Ah, well. So, that serious bit of political boring shithousery at the start should not detract from what we are going to watch tonight. There is only one place to start, which someone did link. Here we go. It's time, chat. It's time. Remember, the bowler hat stays on in bed, okay? It's a fact. He's responded. Oh, for fuck's sake, here we go.
Welcome to Eurocamp.
Well, Eurocamp? This is not the Brexit I voted for, because I didn't, but there you go.
So, obviously, we've got to talk about Gorton and Denton. I think a lot of people want me to talk about that, which, okay, I will.
I wonder why they want you to talk about that, Bowler Hat Man. I wonder why. Honestly, these tears will be the most Moorish of all.
Will, but I'm going to be brutally honest on that. Yeah, Labour did lose, but you know what? Reform didn't win either. That is good. So instead of
coping and seething.
Get ready to hear that particular thing a million times, chat. Hang on a minute. They just about reach the ears. That will do.
talking about what went on here, because I think there is a lot to dive into in the information and what went on there. I think tactical voting did play a big part there, but once again...
Exactly, which is why the Labour Party should have stood down. You fucking reform-enabling scum.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Then I want to point out, as always, in the UK electorate, we have a big problem of turnout. It is not like getting people, registered or anything like that. It is turnout. And remember, less than 50% of the population of Gorton Denton actually turned out to vote.
Okay, my duderino, but basically the same percentage voted in this election as in the general election, which you won with 50% of the vote. So this isn't about turnout. This isn't about percentage turnout or raw vote turnout. This is you losing votes. You lost a quarter of the entire electorate of that seat. It's not turnout. It's you being shit. You as in the Labour Party, not him specifically, but, you know.
That is bad, and that is something that we should try and change. I think all parties should be very, very worried that across all elections for years, and even at local elections, I have talked about this repeatedly for many, many years. Local elections, the turnout for them is dire.
It was literally the same as during the general election. What are you talking about? Now, don't get me wrong. We should never be happy with 47% turnout. That's shite. But one of the reasons the turnout is so low is because the major political parties give you no reason whatsoever to vote for them. So why would you?
So turnout is a problem. It is something that we should at some point look at, and how can we make that better? But that is a different conversation, a different video for a different time. Obviously, Hannah Spencer won, and I think what I'm going to do...
Hang on. Can you say that again, please? I didn't quite catch that.
Different video for a different time. Obviously, Hannah Spencer won, and I think what I'm going to...
Hang on. Sorry, I missed that. Go on.
A different video for a different time. Obviously, Hannah Spencer won, and I think...
sorry, chat. Honestly. Oof. Terrible. Terrible.
A different video for a different time. Obviously, Hannah Spencer won, and I think...
The Islamo People's Republic of Manchester stan. Let's fucking go. Inshallah.
What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a response to her victory speech. I think that is, under the circumstances, I think that is, quite frankly, the best thing to do. So, let me start here. First of all, I do respect it. There is, of course, something very powerful about someone saying, I'm a plumber, not someone, of course, who grew up wanting to be a politician, not someone, of course, who built a career in Westminster, someone who actually wants to work with their hands, someone who's, of course...
Transchester. Oh, fucking woke Chester. Let's go.
course, Queen qualified as a plasterer in the middle of, well, chaos, even said, even under pressure, I get things done. That's what she said. And that, of course, does resonate. And yes, of course, she is right about something very fundamental. Working hard used to feel like it led somewhere. You know, a house, stability, a holiday once a year, a pension you could rely on, a sense that if you did the right thing, life would reward you for it. For too many people, that bargain does feel broken. People are, of course, grafting very long hours.
Okay, and what the fuck have the Labour Party done to, let's say, fix that social contract? Not a lot, in all honesty.
Multiple jobs, and they are still worrying about heating bills, school uniforms, rents, pensions. The frustration is very real. That feeling of prosperity that is now drifted upwards, while the pressure has now drifted downwards, is very real. And of course, she's right. It shouldn't be, of course, radical to believe that working hard should get you a decent life. It shouldn't be controversial to believe that those who cannot work should still live, of course, with dignity. But this is...
Or if you're Kim Ledbetter, they should live with dignitas. That because she wants to kill old people with her bare hands.
Where the speech has to become just more than a diagnosis. It is easy to say that we are being bled dry. It is far harder to explain how you stop it. It is easy to point at billionaires, and it is far, far harder to rebuild an economy so that growth becomes shared, secure, and of course rooted in communities.
Okay. I mean, that is literally true. Devoid of any context, the sentence he said there is true. It is easier to point at a problem than to solve the problem. Okay. But firstly, the Labour Party don't seem to be trying to fix the problem. And secondly, Hannah Spencer is not, and at no point would have claimed, to try and fix that problem because she's not going to be in the government. This wasn't a general election where one is seeking to form a government. It was a by-election where you elect one member of parliament. There was not going to be a change of government after this election, regardless of the result. If the Labour Party had not received a single vote, it wouldn't have collapsed the government. It might have brought down Keir Starmer, to be fair, but it wouldn't have collapsed the government. The Labour Party would still have been there, doing the same things that people have obviously rejected massively. But she's not going to be in the government. So ultimately, for the time being at least, she doesn't even really need to answer the question. She can just point out the problem and try and get the government to do something about it. And whilst they're in opposition, they can come up with their plans and policies for the next general election, like the Labour Party could have done instead of doing trot hunting or flea dispersals. And then wondering why the fleas don't want to vote for us, when we said the door is open and you can leave.
Because, you know, Miss Spencer, you are a plumber, so you know this better than most. You don't fix a leak in a pipe by shouting at it. You fix it by understanding the system, the pressure points, the weak joints, the long-term damage that pipe may have suffered.
Right, but the Labour Party, or at least in part, the damage that the pipe has suffered. You're not the fixers of the problem, you're the problem. Literally, I've come to believe more and more, I think, in a kind of adaptation of the MLK letter from I'm going to pronounce it correctly, Birmingham jail. When he said that the real problem, the real thing standing in the way of progress was the white liberal, right? And ultimately, the adaptation for the British context would be that the real people standing in the way of progress aren't actually Nigel Farage or Kemi Badenoch or any of these fucking ghouls. It's actually the Labour Party. Because the Labour Party are like... They're like a crash helmet made out of paper, right? But that people don't understand is made out of paper. So they put it on thinking it's going to protect their cranium. But it's made of paper, and so their cranium cracks every single fucking time. And it's not until they're removed and people understand that they're not the thing that's going to help them or solve any of these fucking problems, because they're not actually a party of Labour. I know it's in the name, but the titmouse is neither a tit or a mouse. You know, it just because something is called a thing doesn't mean it actually is that thing. And until they are removed from this, until those pretend safety wheels are removed, and the working class is able to actually cycle freely, to continue that slightly weird ad hoc analogy, it's never going to... Nothing positive is actually going to happen in this country. The Labour Party need to be destroyed. Starma delenda est, so to speak.
And of course, then you fix it by doing the steady technical work to repair it. That is what governing is. And that is what...
I'm sorry, I'm not going to take any fucking lessons from the Labour Party in what governing is, considering how abysmally shit you are at governing. Like, embarrassing, pathetically bad at governing you are. You have a majority of over 100 and you can't pass basic legislation. You have gone from a majority of over 100 to losing massively safe seats in less than 2 years. You have multiple pedophile scandals per week at this point. You have done more fucking U-turns than a fucking a NASCAR driver. Technically it's not a U-turn, it's just a big circle, but you get the idea. It's fucking embarrassing. Also, again, just to reiterate, at no point was she going to enter the fucking government. It's a by-election, you cunt. It's on the floor. Fuck it. I'll pick it up later. Thank you, Alex Otter, for 17 months of membership on the YouTube. Much love to ya. Thank you, Nerdy Rowan, for becoming a member on the YouTube's... Oh, did a burpee. And thank you, Cryer, with 10 gifted memberships. Honestly, I will do anything you ask. Anything at all. Thank you, Gabriel Holborn, for 5 gifted community subs on the Twitch machines. Likewise, I will do illegal things for you. This is a fact. Kev, layers of paper can actually be a pretty good shock absorber. Okay, but I mean like one layer of paper. Like a paper tiger type analogy, I guess. I don't know. What is this?
It feels this good.
James O'Brien gives his verdict. Ugh, okay, we'll do JOB next.
Where, of course, we need to look at what is actually now being done. Under this Labour government...
By the way, we will also do... The kind of back end of this show, I wanted to do... a look at, obviously we were going to have to take a look at Graham Hughes' response to this. Not Graham Hughes, Phil Morehouse, sorry. Although Graham is also on the thing. But their analysis of the actual by-election is pretty boring. But I was listening to their live stream they did together, it must have been today, I suppose, about an hour ago. And they got into a fascinating discussion about Zionism. So that might be worth watching, I think. Because it made me angry.
Workers' rights have been strengthened. Tackling it.
Okay, but you weakened it from what you promised at the election. So that's still actually a U-turn.
Exploitative zero-hour contracts. Ending fire and rehire. So that working hard once again...
No, you haven't ended fire and rehire. You literally have a Labour fucking local council here in Birmingham trying to do fire and rehire. So you're just lying.
And does come with security. The minimum wage has risen again, putting real money back into the pockets of low-paid workers. Planning reform has been pushed forward to unlock house building because home ownership should not be a luxury product.
Okay, but like again, you are nearly 2 years in and you don't even have spades in the ground on most of this. So you aren't going to get to your target. And your target, by the way, of 150,000 houses was still not going to be enough. And you're not even going to get to that. You've actually so far built fewer than the Tories built. Which I didn't think was possible. That would have to involve knocking houses down, wouldn't it?
Investment in clean energy and home insulation.
Which again was a rollback from the original plan. You promised 32 billion and it went down to tuppence halfpenny. Everything, even the good things they have done, they promised a lot more and are now providing tinkering at the edges at best.
Is underway. Not just talk about the bills, but actually now bringing them down structurally. There has been even renewed focus on NHS waiting lists because, yeah, wealth should not determine your life expectancy. And of course, there has also been investment aimed at regenerating high streets and local areas because no one...
Okay, so your answer to the overwhelming rejection of the Labour Party in Manchester, Gorton and Denton, a place I will be happy never to have to fucking say again because it's very cumbersome. Although I suppose we have places like Birmingham, Hodge Hill and Ladywood or whatever, you know. So, but anyway, yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, your answer to the rejection of the people of Manchester to your unbelievably shithouse political party in one of your safest seats is to just read out a press release from the Labour Party about the things it claims to have done. So you're not actually like going to call for any change whatsoever in the party that's destroying itself in order to protect Keir Starmer and his weird fucking Nancy friends. Amazing. Literally, they are incapable of learning. That's what I mean. It's not just like I'll probably show the clip in a second about what's his name, Lewis. Fuck's sake, the Labour, the decent Labour Party MP. If you could imagine such a thing. Anyway, going on about trying to change the Labour Party and blah blah blah. The Labour Party, Clive Lewis. The Labour Party is incapable of change. That's why they have to be removed. They have to be superseded. They are a roadblock to actual change. They are an impediment. They are a millstone around the neck of the working class, and they need to be removed.
Should have to leave their community to find opportunity, clean air, or even decent public spaces. Are things perfect? No. Do these things take time to deliver? Yes. Is the frustration understandable? Absolutely. But earning trust doesn't just stop saying, I refuse to accept this. It continues with showing the plan, the costings, the trade-off.
You cheeky cunt. You cheeky fucking cunt. And look, I don't want to even make this personal, but I feel like it's insulting to me, to his audience, to my audience, to any person who would randomly stumble upon this, for this cunt to dare try that shit. The Labour Party have no plan. That's why when you say, that it takes time to do all of this, that's true. You're not going to go instantly and just change everything. But you could have got the ball rolling from day one if you'd had any fucking plan to begin with. Day one, you could have gone in and done stuff and set that ball rolling so that by this time, nearly 2 years in, you would start to see the actual change. But you didn't. You didn't have a plan. And now you're like, see, but you need to have a plan. Motherfucker, he sacked Sue Gray after 100 days because they didn't have a plan for the 100 days that had already fucking passed. He only realised after 100 days that he didn't have a plan for the first 100 days? Was he hoping that they would invent a time machine in those 100 days so he could go back to the start with the plan they had and do that plan in the 100 days? Like, it's fucking disgusting, you mad bastard. For you to sit here lecturing Hannah Spencer, who is a plumber. She hasn't become a member of Parliament yet. You need to be sworn in, which won't happen until Monday, presumably. She's a plumber. What are you expecting her to do or to have a plan for exactly? She has been elected by the people of Gorton and Denton and will become their MP within 72 hours. Or something like that, whatever. It might be Tuesday, I don't fucking care. Doesn't matter, right? She doesn't have a plan for government. Why would you expect her to? She literally had to apologise to her potential plumbing clients for being able to fulfil her pre-arranged appointments with them because she has to go to London now as a Member of Parliament. Why were you expecting her to have a fully costed plan for anything? She's not going there to be a member of the government. She's a fucking MP. She's one MP in a party of 5 MPs as we currently stand. Many more in the future, he is hoping, but 5. She doesn't need a fully costed anything. Pointing out that your party is a weird party of, like, disgusting reprobates, be it of a political or sexual or economic or military nature, or in many cases a combination of various of those. That's enough. Clearly it's enough, because she got 41% of the fucking vote. She pissed past yous all. She flexed on you. She did a Usain Bolt where she didn't even need to dip for the line. She was just like, yeah, well, I've set a world record without even dipping for the line. Who gives a fuck? I'm the greatest, motherfucker. Epic W. God bless her. So clearly she doesn't need a plan, because she's not going into government and she's one fucking person. You're just wrong.
Off the delivery. He said, here, this is what we do. We fight for each other. Good. But fighting each other in government means doing the detailed work. It means...
She isn't going into government! I'm sorry, did you think the people of Manchester, Gorton and Denton were going to elect the Home Secretary yesterday? No, they elected one of 650 members of Parliament. Now, even if we take out the Sinn Féin's ones that don't sit, and the Speaker, who is neutral, and indeed I think that was it 2 deputy speakers, that still leaves 620 or whatever, 630, 40, whatever it is, MPs. And she's one of them, in a party of 5 of them. She's not going into government. Why are you expecting her to have a plan? This is so dumb. This is so unbelievably dumb and bad faith.
Strengthening rights, reforming planning, investing in services, stabilizing the economy, even when it isn't emotionally satisfying as now a rallying cry. People do not want someone who just understands the struggle. They want someone who can fix it.
And you can't fix it. Which is why they don't want you.
That fixing is not just one speech. It is about the steady work of...
Oh, God! They literally think that people want boring technocratic governance. Like it's 1996. Actually, that was probably a bad year to choose. Whatever. 2004, whatever. The people have fundamentally rejected your boring, sensibles, adult in the room shit. No one wants it. It's over. We know that's where you liberal fucks are most comfortable, because it involves making no actual change or rocking the boat in any way whatsoever. We understand that. But it's over. You killed it by being genocidal freaks. Bravo.
Rebuilding now the social contract, and that work has begun under this government.
Are you sure about that?
So, as always, thank you very much, of course, for watching. Please do, of course, click the like, share.
That's it. That's it. That literally is it.
Subscribe button on your way out. Down below, of course, there are links to my Patreon page, all the usual stuff down below. And, of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.
That's it. His analysis is nothing. They've learned nothing. They are incapable of learning anything. Fucking embarrassing. Jesus fucking Christ.
Where are we going? Garbage Island.
Took away from it, this result in Gorton and Denton in Manchester, is the wonderful acceptance speech by the successful candidate, who is a plumber. And I don't know whether you know this, she's also currently training, or she was, because it's all a bit of a change of direction now career-wise. She was training to be a plasterer as well, a plumber and a plasterer. And she apologised to clients who have booked her to do plumbing work in the coming days on account of the fact that she's going to be a little bit too busy doing her new job. And it just struck me, because what did Reform put up? A bloke who was an academic and then wasn't, and works for GBBs and then didn't, does he? I don't even know. But he just whines. He never stops whining, this Goodwin bloke. He whines and whines and whines and whines. Everything is somebody else's fault. The reason why he wasn't a great academic was somebody else's fault. The reason why he lost last night was somebody else's fault. The reason why he's ended up working for a...
Yeah, by the way, he's blaming the Islamics. Not James O'Brien, Matt Goodwin, or as he's now known, Matt Badloss is what he's being referred to as, which is very funny. Anyway, he's blaming the Islams because racism didn't win this election, so he's just going to carry on being racist anyway.
A TV broadcaster that is beyond parody, is somebody else's fault. He used to write quite well-regarded academic tomes and treatises about why the rise of the far right was so hideous and so dangerous, and then he decided to join them, but that was probably somebody else's fault as well. And they like to pretend, don't they, these clowns, that they represent real working people, when, to be fair, they just represent real racists. But there are rather more of them than perhaps some people realised. And what this woman did, this Green Party successful Hannah, the successful Green Party candidate, Hannah Spencer, was just play that card so perfectly and so authentically. Oh, crikey, if I'm supposed to be coming around to unblock your pipes next week, I'm not going to be able to. I've just become an MP. That's working. That's the real sort of face, if you like.
Oh my God, Bowler Hat Man is such a fucking briefcase. Even James O'Brien is like flexing on him vicariously. He's not doing it directly, of course, but like even he's like, actually, yeah, it's cool. They elected a normal person, an actually working person. Cool. And like James O'Brien is from a private school and I think he went to Oxbridge, didn't he? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Look, he's from a privileged background. So, like, it's not even in his personal interests to rock the boat in that way. And even he's like, nah, it's actually cool that there's, like, a normal person going to Parliament. Oh, we went to LSE? Oh, okay. That's relatively prestigious. It's not quite got quite the kind of upper class, I don't know, heritage or whatever, but it's still, you know, it's a good school, definitely.
Of working people in this country. Middle-class cliches like me have a tendency sometimes to fetishise manual labour and to talk about it as if, you know, the horny-handed sons and daughters of the soil are the true backbone of Britain. But I think there's some truth in it. I think there's some truth in it.
I've noticed that the upper middle class actually don't lionise these people; they belittle them. But okay, James, if that gets you to sleep at night, mate, go for it.
Have a listen. Have a listen to what she had to say.
I didn't grow up wanting to be a politician. I'm a plumber. And 2 weeks ago, during all this, I also qualified as a plasterer. Because even in chaos, even under pressure, I get things done. Now, to my customers...
To be fair, Keir Starmer is also a plasterer, in that he's so scared he's now plastered his underwear in shit. His own shit. Hey, hello, Culture Shots. How you getting on, man? Long time no speakerino, friend.
I'm sorry, but I think I might have to cancel the work that you had booked in because I'm heading to Parliament. And when I get there, I will make space for everyone doing jobs like mine. We will finally get a seat at the table.
Is James patronising? I don't think so, actually. Like, you know me, chat. I'm no friend of James O'Brien. But I think... I think he's genuinely, like, happy about that. Which is odd, because, like, he is a Labour dick rider, but I think he has a semblance of, like, well, you know, the Greens are okay, and at least Reform lost. Which I think is, like, a perfectly reasonable response if you're a Labour Party person to this election. Like, obviously it's bad for the Labour Party, of course it is, but if you have a semblance of actually giving a fuck about the working class, or just the country sort of more broadly, I think you can accept that this is a good result nonetheless.
Typical plumber, eh? They just tell you to get lost when a bigger job comes along. We've all been there.
Okay. Okay. That's quite a good joke. That's actually that hadn't occurred to me. That's yeah, better offer came in so you can fuck up. Okay, that's pretty solid. I'll give him that.
Politicians who look like traditional politicians for a generation now, certainly since 2010, have either been objectively awful in the case of Cameron and Osborne, I mean hideously ridiculous in the case of a Liz Truss and a Boris Johnson, or just not particularly competent in the case of a Rishi Sunak or a Keir Starmer. So I
he's lost James O'Brien. Oh no, Keith, you have to go, mate. You have to go. Even your bought and paid for shills are now like, yeah, he's an incompetent twat, you know. Yeah, obviously he's useless. Like, even the people defending him are like, yeah, he's fucking shit, isn't he? Oh no. He's already dead. You're flogging a corpse at this point.
feel my grip upon the idea of you can't put people in charge who don't sound and look like traditional politicians. Everything will go mad if we do that. My grip on that conviction is beginning to loosen a bit. It was already...
He's learning, chat. He's growing as a person. It only took him into his fucking 50s to realise that this was the case, somehow, but he is learning. Yeah, maybe just having sensible McSensible face, do it. Hasn't worked for the last 50 fucking years. Maybe having some ordinary people in there that have an understanding of the actual country they're trying to, you know, guide might help. Like, I think you need some lawyers, because you are drafting laws and stuff, so that's fine. And I've got no problem with PPE graduates as long as, you know, that's not all they've ever done. But you can't just have those things, because that's not remotely representative of the country, is it? If all you've got is special advisor fucking freaks and Labour Friends of Israel people, that's not representative of Britain. Not in 2026. Well, not ever, but certainly not in 2026.
Ready But I think this morning it's loosening still further, because all of the people queuing up to tell me why this is different, why there is something going on in the green corner of UK politics, I think, well, they've first of all got a by-election result on their side, a big one, make no mistake. They won by a lot more than anybody predicted.
That's the beauty of it. It's an absolute smash. Because for all of the talk about like fraud, firstly, there's literally no actual example anyone can give of any fraud taking place. What you have is one group of people who observed potential people possibly going into the booth of another person, which, by the way, doesn't necessarily A, mean they were directing them to vote in any particular way, or B, were breaking the law at all. There are non-nefarious things. You're not supposed to do it, obviously. There are rules against that. But there are entirely non-nefarious reasons why someone would do that. And the fact that they're going, oh, it's family voting, they mean, oh, it's the Muslimics. That's their entire narrative around this is, wow, it's just the Muslims that are the problem. Because they're racist, you say. The Reform Party and Labour are racist. In case you hadn't realised that, you know. Hey, we're on a hype train. That's dope. Thank you, Waver the Story, for gifting a sub to Journey and Jordan. Much love to you both. And thank you, Drowsy Druid 92 with 200 bitty bits. Much love. Yes, if you want to make the hype train go choo-choo further, I will, if we get to the next level of the hype train, I will finger the Labour Party. Because it is dead. Killed by a plumber. With a massive wrench. Yeah, that was meant as a double entendre.
And the idea that we just dismiss it, the grown-ups, the sensibles, just dismiss it as a flash of euphoric optimism, or it's idealistic naivety, naive idealism. I don't know, to be honest with you.
He's learning. Chat, he's learning. He's developing. Holy shitballs.
This is an existential crisis for the Labour Party. No longer can they try and scare people into saying they have to vote for something because they're worried about the least worst option. A vote for the Greens is a vote both to stop reform, to stop Labour, and for something hopeful and a plan.
I couldn't be more proud. To represent Gorton and Denton, and by that I mean the whole of Gorton and Denton. I'm so proud that we fought a really positive campaign against the Reform Party that dances to the tune of their billionaire donors who don't want to pay their fair share of tax.
True.
And against the Labour Party who also stooped so incredibly low. We want
they really did, by the way. The Labour Party should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Like, I expected the fucking Reform Party to do it, but I don't know. Like, the Labour Party, this should have been a safe seat. They didn't. Look, the Labour Party are disgusting. They're a disgrace. They are, literally.
It's a fucking disgrace.
You know.
Alternative to the stale, broken, old two-party politics, and that is the Green Party. I don't want to dwell on it for too long, but I have been appalled at some of the divisive, dog-whistling campaigning from other parties. I know in my heart, and everyone knows here, everybody here belongs. Everybody deserves to have their needs met. Everyone deserves a voice in our democracy. And today, the people here in this constituency have sent a very clear message.
And that message summed up perfectly by, I think, I'm going to call them the 21st century Shakespeare. The spirit of the bard lives on, okay?
Red versus blue. That's out of date. Haven't you heard? Manchester's green, mate. Anna Spencer. Big Zach Polanski. Right here in Tameside. We've made fucking history. The left are flying, the right are crying. Election fraud, stop the boats. Fuck off, Nigel. You didn't get enough vote. Starmer's Labour love Mossad and Epstein. Do you know what I mean? Sniffing legal beak with Maxine Peake and those who asylum seek. We voted for the plumber, not the posh prick from Hertfordshire, 'cause this is Manchester. We do things differently here. Fuck off. Red versus blue.
It's not me. I don't have that accent. How dare you? How dare you? You want a link to that? Okay. Oh, Mick McCarthy.mp4. I don't know which chat asked for that because they get combined on the things. I'll just post it in both. Fuck it. Right. Where were we? Sarah. Right.
We've rejected hate and embraced the politics of hope. Not blind hope, hope that is rooted in an ambitious but very achievable plan to transform our country for the better. This is just the beginning. The Green Party is on track to make big gains in the May elections, in the Senate and in councils all over the country. And our momentum will continue building. You've seen a green surge. Well, now wait, because a green tidal wave is coming at the next general election.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
Is very fond of saying, we are not here to be disappointed by Labour. We are here to replace them.
A bunch of fascist slags.
And I was here to replace Labour in Gorton and Denton. And that's job done. Tomorrow, the real work begins. Thank you so, so much.
Wow. I can tell you if you're in...
Mr. President, a second tiny green queen is going to Westminster. Fuck yes. Did Birmingham finally get its bins collected? No, well, I mean, they've got scabs and stuff, but no, that strike is still ongoing. Over a year now it's been rumbling on. It's fucking ridiculous. The decade of renewal. It's...
Any doubt at all that almost everything she said there will resonate with huge swathes of our general population who are almost entirely unrepresented currently by the UK media. The comments in particular about billionaires, of course, are never going to be reported in media that is largely owned by billionaires, dedicated to the protection of their own wealth and privilege. And the comments about Gaza are also going to resonate way, way more than you would ever understand from reading most coverage of the Middle East in most UK newspapers. Just on...
No, he's right. Again, devoid of any context, he's absolutely right. That is true. All of that is true. But it's not just the media. It's the major political parties. Every single... Look, the Maccabi Tel Aviv thing was the perfect example because it was so ridiculous that they went to bat for that evil shit. But you wouldn't know that the vast majority of the public support Palestinian statehood, freedom and rights. That they oppose the actions of the Israeli government and the IDF in destroying Gaza and taking land in both Gaza and the West Bank. And they don't think the government should be arming that shit. You wouldn't know that, though, because, again, as he points out, the media don't tell you that, and none of the major political parties will tell you that. Because they don't actually represent the people of Britain or their opinions. They're all in hock to the same group of evil bastards. To be fair, Drowsy, I will give James O'Brien his credit on this one. He doesn't seem to be huffing down the copium particularly. I think he's accepted that this is actually not a bad thing, even though obviously he's a Labour shill fuck. Like I think he has a semblance of something to him. and seems to have learned maybe a little bit about the country that he talks to every fucking day. And realised maybe that, I don't know, the Labour Party's current direction, at the very least, is not really serving the purposes of the people of the UK.
On those two central points, there is an appeal.
Whereas we listened, the first video we watched from Bowler Hat Man, that guy was like overdosing on copium, literally. He might actually have an overdose and die on copium. It's bad for the ticker.
Being made to people who are currently politically either disillusioned or, to use that dread phrase, homeless. Did you know that Farage's treasurer is a billionaire property developer? The man of the people has put a bloke in charge of fundraising who speaks fluent billionaire. And there you have a woman who's going to have to let down some of her plumbing clients because she's going to be a little busy taking up her new role in Westminster. But
now again, devoid of context, absolutely correct. You want to talk about Quadrilla Capital? You want to talk about Lord Ali? Want to talk about Keir Starmer's free Arsenal tickets? Want to talk about them purposefully gutting their environmental investment stuff because companies lobbied Rachel Reeves at Davos? Do you want to talk about any of those things, James?
we can all get high on hopium, can't we? We can all get high on optimism, and goodness knows.
Yeah, and Mandelson, obviously, yeah.
Not been an awful lot to be optimistic about.
Like, even before this is the annoying thing about the Mandelson, right? Obviously, the annoying thing is that he's a fucking yum nonce, right? But, allegedly. But, even before that, even if he had a completely squeaky clean record in terms of noncing, he was still like a demonstrably evil piece of shite. The entirety of his political life has been evil. Everything he's ever done has been bad. And you know who we don't give any fucking comeuppance for that? Neil Kinnock. Yeah, the Labour Party leader from, was it 85 to 93 or whatever the fuck it was. Not only did he destroy the Labour Party as an actual party of Labour, but he fucking brought Mandelson in as the Director of Communications. He gave Mandelson his fucking start. And no one questions him on this. No one questions him on his corrupt fucking dealings in Europe as well. Again, the same as fucking Mandelson. He just gets a fucking completely free ride. He's just one of the grand statesmen of British politics. Fucking piece of absolute verminous trash.
At the moment.
Yeah, Lord Kinnock. There's a reason that I think the House of Lords should be fucking bulldozed. With or without the cunts inside, frankly. I don't care at this point.
But that was a lovely speech. That was a powerful speech. Zach Polanski, who I told you on Wednesday, I'm a little bit embarrassed not to have a very clear picture of. He spoke there fluently. He spoke without notes. He spoke powerfully. He spoke confidently. Crucially, he came across...
Are you going to mention at any point any of the policies or anything? He spoke really well and he didn't have any notes. See, this is the thing. I think there is a kernel of something decent with inside James O'Brien that can be salvaged. But ultimately, he's still a shitlib to his core. He's a fucking Libby briefcase cunt who's just like, didn't he speak really nicely? I got good vibes from him. You gonna mention any of the fucking things he talked about? Any of the substance to anything? You are a political fucking commentator. You are a journalist. Do some fucking journalism. Don't just say, oh, vibes good. Oh, didn't he remember all of his words well? Fucking hell, this is awful. Fucking crikey.
Cross is neither weird nor smarmy. These are big things. These things matter.
They do matter, but, like, this is the only analysis you have. This is the only analysis you fucking have, is he wasn't weird and smarmy. Okay, that's nice. What about the fucking policies? What about anything he actually fucking said? I hate the UK so much. The media are the fucking worst. He's one of the better ones, and he's a fucking useless scummer. Oh, I'm gonna fucking cry. Oh, I thought Neil Kinnock died in the 90s until you said that. No, unfortunately, he's still very much with us. The Grim Reaper, for some reason, just refuses to take the old cunt. I don't know why. Have you thought about having a whip round and getting him to Switzerland? It's for the best, you know. Although he's not the worst in the world. How the fuck Norman Tebbit is still alive, I still don't know. I don't know. He was like fucking 80 back in fucking 1993 or something. Like, how? How? Tebbit's dead. What? Did I crab dance for him? I thought Tebbit was still alive. He died in last July. What? How old was he? I mean, firstly, yay, that's extra good news. He was 94! Fucking piece of shit. Well, I mean, it's a bit late for it, I guess, but it would be inappropriate not to.
This charm says much.
As if you're going to get an advert before a crab rave. What a fucking absolute cock block. Well, that's extra good news. I thought he was still alive. Fuck yes. You did one at the time? Hang on, so I did do one at the time, and I've just forgot. Oh, excellent. I've double dipped. I've had a fucking 2 for 1. I've had seconds on a crab dance for Tebbit. Fuck yes.
It's weird, it doesn't matter how strong the message is, it will hold you back. Come across as smarmy, it doesn't matter how strong the message is, it will hold you back. I'll give you an example. Farage and his mates are just whining gracelessly. A big boy did it and ran.
Yeah, they really are, by the way. It's fucking tragic. Like, the one thing they've learned from Trump is never admit defeat, even when you've obviously mathematically been totally annihilated. Just claim it was Smartmatic Systems and the ghost of Hugo Chavez with bamboo fucking Hungarian vector, you know?
In a way, we did win, but it goes to a different school. Matt Goodwin is about to announce that he's become a shadow MP, and he's having a victory party in Manchester as we speak. But voters react to that. They react to the human behaviour of people, and the absence of smarminess, the absence of weirdness, the absence of any of those things is big.
What about the fucking policies, you cunt? Honestly, I'm gonna have to take the manifesto. Like, I'm gonna have to strap him down into a chair and read policy to him. And I'm just gonna hear him mumbling vibes, and just trying desperately to ignore the policy and just go vibes. But I'm gonna get through to him, chat. He's gonna learn.
So you heard Zach Polanski say that this is seismic and that something absolutely massive is underway. You are allowed to disagree. This isn't a victory party. This is a phone-in show that seeks to reflect.
For you, it's not a victory party. For me, it's very much a victory party.
As many different perspectives as possible. But the question has become pretty obvious in the last 5 minutes, hasn't it? Is he right? Is Hannah Spencer right? Is Zach Polanski right? Is something very important currently underway in the green corner of UK politics?
Well, obviously. Like, even if you don't think it can be sustained in the long term, there is definitely something happening there, yes. Okay, that was, I mean, that was a weird way of ending that. But actually, that wasn't bad. That wasn't terrible at all. I will give James O'Brien the slightest amount of thing. Oh my god. Hannah Spencer 22, plumber from Bolton. That's not Manchester. That's Greater Manchester. What year is this from? 2013 at Glastonbury. God, it's such a woke victory. You gotta love it. You've gotta love it. Oh, fuck yes. Anyway, we got some bookmarks to get through. Where are we at? Zach Polanski, you've got to give him his credit. It's solid shit posting. It's solid shit posting. Exclusive. Zach Polanski overheard speaking loudly on the phone on a train, saying there's shitloads of new Green Party members, and the Greens are going to win elections across England and Wales in May. And then fully soy-faced, with the phone charging as well. Excellent points. Excellent points. Oh, beautiful.
If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
And they did. Enjoy your historic unpopularity, you shithouse. It was trending, chat. It was trending. Gotta love it. Heidi Alexander.
So there was a big anti-reform majority if you put the votes cast for the Labour Party alongside the Green Party together. So there was a...
Yeah, I mean, in that respect, yeah, you won, Heidi. If you add the Labour Party vote to a different political party, and if you add those together, then Labour won. Yeah, well done. That isn't how it works. But in the land of make-believe, you are the real winners. Yeah? Awesome.
The melt.
Oh yeah, these were doing the rounds again. The weird woke England flag things. They were doing the rounds. I think they're going to be a regular reoccurring theme. Yeah, Labour Party HQ right now. Oh God. Oh no. Only the Lib Dems can lose here. And everyone else, I suppose. Well, what? Hang on, what now? What? What is this?
Election monitoring group, Democracy Volunteers, has talked about what they describe as concerningly high levels of so-called family voting in this by-election, essentially collusion, more than one member of the family going into a booth. Nigel Farage has said this election was a victory for sectarian voting and cheating. So what's your response to that?
Kill yourself? In Minecraft?
Well, Nigel Farage is a sore loser and he just lost an election badly.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
True.
I think more to the substantive point, though, Manchester City Council, who are obviously independent in this, have been really clear that there has been no irregularity. Police officers were at every single polling station, and there's no finding that anything was seen or anything untoward happened. So actually, just once again, Reform are spreading misinformation and smears, and the press and the media seem to repeat them.
Well, I'm just repeating what Democracy Volunteers has said. Is that something that you're not concerned at all?
I don't think anyone had heard about Democracy Volunteers until yesterday. I think it's really important that the media, and I'm talking to all media, by the way, I'm not just talking to you two, but take responsibility that when Reform or Nigel Farage says something, they don't just keep repeating it. And actually, I've been asked this several times this morning. Manchester City Council, who are independent, have been really clear that there's no irregularity happening. So why are we still having this conversation?
If you're paying attention, I've been saying that this morning as well. So look, it's going to be litigated, isn't it, Zach, as you know, because they're going to keep making that charge.
Was that Lee Zomazimba? Is he doing proper news now? Good God. Sorry. Democracy volunteers are right-wing funded bellends. That doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me at all. Democracy Volunteers was founded by a conservative peer and is funded by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, which is controlled by Carnegie UK, who were the first group to demand a government implement a social media ban. Lies and control disguised as charity. Not surprising. Not surprising. I don't want a Labour government, I want revenge is a genuinely lovely piece of nonsense. Bless. Yeah, the headline is amazing. And then the picture, look, so the headline is Starmer, extreme Greens pose a threat to Britain. And then the picture is Hannah Spencer eating fish and chips. Like, okay. I mean, I'll be honest with you, ISIS wouldn't have seemed quite so threatening if instead of the beheadings they were just having some nosh, you know? Just having a bit of fucking scran. Beautiful. Oh, Lee Harpin. Genuinely fucking lunatic mentalist, Zionist freak Lee Harpin, who literally said, I'm going to stick my neck out. I think Labour has won.
You are coping
Oh, fucking beautiful, man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Yeah, here was Matt Goodwin's statement. Quote, "We are losing our country." I heard you want your country back. Shut the fuck up. A dangerous Muslim sectarianism has emerged. So it's not you that's to blame for losing the election, it's anybody else, yeah? Okay, cool. We have only one general election left to save Britain. Vote reform every chance you get. I will continue the fight and will fight for you. I will stand at the next general election. Matt. I see someone's taking their L with no grace. Good stuff. What's this? Lessons from this by-election. Galloway Greens are now in control.
Throbbing.
Traditional Greens have lost control of their party to the hardcore parts of the left and sectarian politics. They are willing to deploy sectarian tactics while outside of mainstream politics. Go fuck yourself. Zach Polanski writes to Deputy Leader of the Labour Party and all-round loser, Lucy Powell. Dear Lucy Powell, I have enjoyed our exchange of letters about which of our parties is best placed to stop reform. Hannah Spencer MP and I trust that you will agree that this question has now been resolved once and for all. Thanks, Zach Polanski. Just for him, like, fucking annoying the piss out of, like, Lucy Powell and fucking Keith Stonger, Casey. That's enough for me. Like, even if he never becomes a member of Parliament, let alone Prime Minister, like, just he boils the piss of briefcases, and I'm very, very here for it. I fucking love that shit. Oh, this wanker.
We have tried very, very hard to get an interview with Zach Polanski, who it seems to me will speak to anyone else in the world except me. We watched him.
Oh, it's too good. It's
right-wing bollocks.
Give someone else an interview, and then we followed him down here because we thought we might see him do some canvassing and watched him get into a car and drive away. We did try and speak to some green activists. One of them asked which newspaper we were with, and then he said, absolutely f***ing not.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking burst, man. Oh. Absolutely fucking not. That's beautiful, man. Oh. Can we just have this on a loop forever? What a posh cunt.
We've been on a completely fruitless hunt for Zach Polanski for just over 2 hours. I stood close to him. I poised to say hello, but at that moment his press person stepped between us. I was body blocked by a young lady.
Oh, he got foid-mogged. No way.
As far as I'm concerned, this by-election is like the Iraq War, the first Gulf War. It never happened. We followed the trail of Zach's.
What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? What the actual fuck did that sentence mean? It's like the first Gulf War, it didn't happen. I don't... Do I even have a noise for that?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Again, there are so many people in the British media stealing a living. Because this apparently counts as journalism.
Polanskis to this beautiful park in Gorton where he is not at. Still don't know where he is. I refuse to give up. But I will say, Reform has painted this constituency as the hub of sectarian divide in a modern British hell. I'd say I rather like it. That's it. We've given up. Zach.
I believe their lies. They said it was an absolute shithole. It turns out the people are actually fine and just normal people, actually. Whoops. I thought everyone north of London was disgusting vermin. And actually only most of them are. So, you know, rather...
Polanski is nowhere to be found, last seen somewhere near Loch Ness. We know that he has spoken to The Times, to The Guardian, not to the Daily Telegraph. He's even spoken to the New Musical Express. So we can't tell you anything, but according to the NME, his favourite song from the last year was Messy by Lola Young.
I don't even know who that is. Am I the out of touch one? Because I don't know who that was. Who's Lola Young, chat? Is that a... But anyway, turns out not only did we elect a gay Jewish man leader, but he's also a ninja. Messi is a fucking bop. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to risk copyright. Lola something, was it? Messi, Lola Young, lyrics Espanol? What? Is it Spanish?
From plumbing to roofing to electrics, download the Check It.
You know I'm impatient, so why would you leave me waiting outside the station? When it was like -4 degrees and I get what you're saying. I just really don't want to hear it right now. Can you shut up for like once in your life? Listen to me. I took your nice words of advice about how you think I'm gonna die lucky if I turn 33. Okay, so yeah, I smoke like a chimney. I'm not skinny and I pull a Britney every other week. But cut me some slack. Who do you want me to be? 'Cause I'm too messy. And then I'm too fucking clean. You told me get a job and you asked where the hell I've been.
That's shit. I'm sorry, that is a shit song. I don't know about Ms. Young's other discography, but that was rubbish. I'm just putting it out there right now, chat. That was dog shit. And you cannot convince me otherwise. Oh, here's another angle of Mothin Ali crowd surfing, by the way. The tiny green king. Oh yeah, here was the Clive Lewis interview thing as well. So this is a Labour MP who, I mean, really ought to... He ought to defect to the Greens, I think.
Look, we have an interim Prime Minister at the moment. How long that interim is will be...
Kia, one of your own MPs is saying you are an interim Prime Minister. That's fucking brutal, man. Oh.
Look, we have an interim Prime Minister at the moment. How long that interim is will be up to the Parliamentary Labour Party. He will not be here for very long. He does not deserve to be here much longer. But it's for other people.
Oh.
You just assaulted me,
said Keir Starmer.
In the PLP, not just myself, to decide when that is. At the moment, if it went tomorrow, the only person I could see benefiting would be the Secretary of State for Health, Wes Streeting. And frankly, that would be more of the same. He's an acolyte of Peter Mandelson. There is no point...
He means paedophile. Yeah. You know how they used to say about gay people, they used to refer to as friends of Dorothy? Right. Well, I think a slang term for pedos should be friends of Mandelson. Just saying.
Point electing Wes Streeting as our leader if that were to take place, because it would be more of the same. We need a radical reset, fundamental change, or we will have a reform government. And I'm afraid my colleagues and the rest of the party need to understand that. What I think has enabled this to happen is the fact that we have basically systemically burned our base.
Yeah, they literally fucking told them to fuck off. Just found out Keir Starmer cut funding for home adaptations, so disabled people can no longer get a grant for things like wet rooms or accessible kitchens, etc. Well, yeah, he's scum, yeah. He's absolute scum. What is this? Labour MP nearly explodes after by-election.
You're not my daughter.
What the fuck? What? Oh, that's... Oh, hang on, 1 second. What? Don't give me unskippable ads, you cunts. Jesus Christ. Okay, we'll watch after this.
Chased after mythical voters who have no interest in voting Labour. We've alienated a vast swathe of that constituency on issues from Gaza through to immigration and asylum. The whole tone of this government is one that many people, and I heard it on the doorstep, you're not a Labour Party that I recognise, what happened to you?
Exactly, because they're not a fucking Labour Party. I've had this before. The reason that the Tories are dying is because they don't fundamentally represent conservative people, or conservative anything. And the Labour Party, likewise, don't represent Labour politics. They're not socialist, they're not even social democratic, they're not even fucking centrist at this point. So why would the people who traditionally vote for those kinds of policies want to vote for the party of the island of strangers? You can't say, vote for us to keep the Tories out, if you're just the Tories. Do you know what I mean? Hey, hello, Turn Left. Welcome in, Curtis and the Curtisites. You know who I am. I've been on Turn Left. You've all fucking seen me. I'm awesome. No, I'm Kevin Logan, a socialist from the UK. Apologies that I'm a little bit groggy today, because I stayed up with also fellow alumni of Turn Left, No Justice MTG, last night until about 5:30, watching the results come in. I say results, it was one result. And so I was asleep all today. And my eyes don't work anymore because I've forgotten what sunlight looks like. I haven't seen it for like fucking 3 days or something, so... There you go. Anyway, welcome in. You can hit the follow button and subscribe and all that shit. It's free. We're currently watching Clive Lewis telling the truth about the interim Prime Minister.
Look, the Labour Party changes, the Labour Party adapts, but it has a core philosophy, which is you want to improve people's lives and you want to have a politics which is inclusive. It doesn't make a difference if your banners say that. Your actual actions, your policies, your behaviour and how you come across to the public is what's important. And frankly, under Keir Starmer and the people around him, we have come across sounding like a pound shop reform. In many, look, we have.
That's, oh my God, that's an absolute devastation. Pound shop reform. No. Fucking beautiful, man. Turn Left gave you and No Justice big shout out on the stream. Oh well, thank you, Curtis / whoever was hosting. I don't know, but yeah, thank you. Everyone go and follow Turn Left. They do proper. You know, at the start when I said I'm not going to do proper political analysis, I just want to like dunk on people tonight. And then I said go and watch No Justice if you want like actual analysis and stuff. The same applies basically to Turn Left. Go and watch Turn Left if you want actual like kind of more news type content. Whereas if you want a stupid Brummie screaming at fascists, that's why I'm here. Or just laughing at people, laughing at losers, you know. That's what I do. Anyway, what was the thing someone sent me? Labour MP nearly explodes after by-election defeat. Oh my God, have they gone suicide bomber? That would be interesting.
Labour MP for Kingston upon Hull Eastern joins me now. Thank you for coming on, sir. Scratching his head, and how big a headache this morning for him, would you say? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Nick. Well, it's terrible, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest. If I was reading the PLP script, I'd be saying there's nothing to see here. Calm down and carry on. The reality is, this is a catastrophic result for the Labour Party. And frankly, Keir Starmer was involved in blocking Burnham. I texted him on the day. I said, don't go anywhere near the NEC meeting. Tell them you're washing your hair. Keep away from the place, for crying out loud. Don't be anywhere near when this happens. And in fact, why block Burnham? Bring him in. Use him. He thinks he's the king of the North. Make him the minister for the North. Put him in charge of local elections.
I'm sorry, with that accent, you have to be minister for the North. That is the most northern accent that's ever existed, isn't it?
When it's crap for us, blame Burnham. That was my advice to the PM. Not listened to, completely ignored. What a mess we're in now.
How politically astute is Sir Keir Starmer?
Goodness knows, but I'll tell you what he has been doing a lot of the time, relying on really poor advice from people with apparently big brains and 12 PhDs, but actually people who don't know what's going on in places like East Hull.
True. That's so true. Yeah, exactly. Literally. Like, you can have all of the PPE Oxbridge shit you like. You don't understand people that live in this country. The Westminster, the kind of Epstein class, don't live in the real world. Which is why they think it's fine to have Yum Yum go to Washington. Or fucking Morgan McSweeney going like, oh, maybe we do the fucking the Island of Strangers. Have we thought about aping Enoch Powell? You know, the very, very popular Enoch Powell. Because it's 1961 again, apparently. Gorgeous George said that he would have stood if Burnham had been the candidate. Really? Why? Because the Iraq thing, possibly. I don't know, but yeah.
Throbbing. Get on the doors in East Hull. You'll find out what people want. They expect policy from a Labour government. We went to the election in 2024 promising to be a party which can deliver. A party which was not going to be chaotic, competent. Goodness me, I can't remember how many U-turns. I just want one more though, Nick. Juries. Bad idea, unpopular, unworkable, unjust.
How is the situation to
based? Yeah.
Be retrieved?
Look, I think Keir is the leader of the Labour Party for as long as he wants, probably. I don't fancy the job. I'd go into the room, I won't even nominate me for it. What, 24-hour job? 7 days a week? You don't get 5 minutes to go to the toilet. You've got coppers with you for the rest of your life. Goodness me, you look round the PLP, who's there to do the job? Burnham's not in, he can't get in. He's been blocked because people are fricked to death in case he might fancy challenging the leader. I've never known now like it in my life.
Okay. I mean, I do worry for your fucking stress levels, mate. Chill out a bit. Just, you know what I mean? You're not a young man anymore. You've got to take care of your heart. Think of your fucking heart, boy.
If you think you're going to be challenged, get him in a room and say, come on then, let's have a fight. It's ridiculous.
What do the good folk of Kingston upon Hull East Cavs as their main concerns, Carl Turner?
Well, it's cost of living. There's a problem with that. We're doing well on some of the stuff. We're delivering in policy areas, but we can't talk about it. National Health Service lists are coming down. I think West Streeting's doing a fairly good job, but we're nowhere near.
Oh, okay, he's a melter. Okay.
Where we need to be. What we need to do, Nick, in my view, honestly, my humble opinion, is just deliver policy. Don't start messing around with stuff we've never heard about. Shagos this and Shagos that. I never even knew it existed until we started talking about it a few weeks ago. Goodness me, what are we up to? Were you turning on that? You turning on this? I've lost count. I don't even know what... I don't read the Parliamentary Labour Party briefs. I stopped reading them 10 minutes after I was elected in May 2010. But I'll tell you what, if I was, I'd be spinning round in circles. I don't know.
This guy is a fucking force of nature. Did someone, he's just... How have you got this much energy? It's fucking mad.
Where we are. Just deliver what we said we're going to do in the manifesto and stop picking things from daftness, of the daftest daftness you've ever heard in your life. Whose idea was it to do away with juries? Have you ever heard anything like it in your life? And we're going to plough on, but it's not just that.
He's still going. This is fucking amazing.
Nick, we're going to plough on and do away with juries, and we're going to do it in 25 minutes. So we're not allowed to debate the issue. I said a few years ago on the Brexit stuff, me and my missus spent more time choosing a sofa than we did to debate the bill. And on this stuff, juries, a big constitutional change in the criminal justice system, we're going to have about 3 days to debate it according to the whips. I just can't keep up with it.
Do you breathe, my friend? He hasn't stopped to inhale. Has he got gills? Is that how he takes in oxygen? What the fuck is he? Just don't stop.
It's making my head hurt.
I've enjoyed every moment. Last question. As and when the WhatsApp or the text messages come from from disaffected colleagues, what are you going to say? Are you ready to be a revolting Labour MP?
I'm not going to be saying get rid of Starmer. Goodness me, I don't know anybody who'd want the job. I won't have it gift wrapped. He's doing a good job. He's doing stuff in the,
Fuck off. Is he doing a good job? He's the most unpopular cunt there's ever been in that position. Jesus.
For a second.
Go on.
He's doing some good stuff internationally. We've got some good policy stuff. The reality is, we just mess about with stuff that we've never mentioned. No pitch rolling. Keir Starmer wrote to the Parliamentary Labour Party 3 days ago, so I'm going to start listening. 25 minutes later, we've got this...
Who is he? It's Carl Turner, who's the Labour MP for Kingston upon Hull East. And clearly a bit of a mental, but in a good way, maybe. I don't know.
Bill produced where we're doing away with juries. I'm the only guy in Parliament who knows anything about the criminal justice system. And Mr. Lammy, bless his cotton socks, only just started talking to me 2 days ago because Mr. Matt Sweeney told him he wasn't allowed to. I'm not making it up, it's the truth.
I like it, just called him Matt McSweeney. Yeah, fuck him. He doesn't deserve to have his name pronounced properly, no.
The reviews are in, Carl. This man is brilliant, says Joe in Kent. Can we have this guy on every day, says Paul. Another Paul says he is brilliant. Richard says give him his own show. Carl, if I ever take holiday, are you going to come down and take over the show for a bit?
I'd do it for a few quid, Nick. I need the money because my parliamentary career is going down the pan.
Carl Turner is Labour MP for Kingston upon Hull East. I sense we're going to be speaking again.
All right, yeah, no, that's all right. Again, I'd like that because at least he's a fucking character. He's not a soulless robot who goes beep boop, beep boop. This is the approved message. Beep boop. Like it gives you that. You know that's what he thinks. There's no filter there. He's giving you the thing he actually thinks and believes at any given fucking moment, and I'm fine with that. That's fine. Grand. Oh. Anyway. Mad cunt though. Mad as a box of frogs, obviously, but you know, I'm okay with that. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, right. So. Yes, there was the final thing I sort of wanted to take a look at. Now, I was obviously going to have to take a look at Phil Morehouse's video on this, the Gorton and Denton thing, but actually his analysis wasn't particularly, it was fine. Like, there was some stuff I disagreed with, but whatever, it's basically fine. And so I just thought, fuck it, I can't be bothered. And so I went over to look at the stream that he did with Graham Hughes on the Politics Social channel, and they're both Labour Party briefcases, basically. Although Graham's certainly the better of the two. And again, the analysis was basically there was not a lot to get into. But as I just sort of let it play as I was making some food earlier, and they got into a discussion about Zionism, and it blew me away. So it's sort of related in a sense because they are talking about electoral politics and so on, but no, that's the channel I want, but that's not the video I wanted. Right. Okay.
Normal to be anti-Zionist because
hang on.
Practically believe in Israel's
Have
right
you
to exist.
forgotten?
Hang on.
No winning with my beef is with Reeves saying she's an unapologetic Zionist, and that was dumb.
So that was him reading out like a super chat about Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, saying that she was an unapologetic Zionist, and then they start talking.
Look, one of the things I say on this channel quite a lot, thanks for the super chat by the way, is don't use the Z word, because whatever you think it means doesn't necessarily mean the same thing to someone else. You've got one idea in your head of what it means, and someone else has a completely different idea in their head of what it means.
It means one thing. Anti-Zionism can mean multiple things, but Zionism means one thing.
What does it mean?
That Israelis have a right to exist in Israel.
No, what the fuck is that definition? No, it doesn't mean that. It's a campaign of ethno-nationalism. That's all it's ever been. And by the way, it wasn't always a case of ethno-nationalism in the land that now occupies what we call Israel. Because Zionists of various stripes throughout history have suggested various other possible suggestions. There was one that had part of Africa as the Zionist homeland for the Jewish people. There was one in, I think it was the Mojave Desert or something. They were going to possibly buy a big chunk of land and start something there at one point. Was a plan. So look, it's reasonably no, not Madagascar. That was a Nazi, like eugenics, murder, genocide thing against the Jewish people. That was a different plan, which also didn't happen. But the genocide happened, but they didn't send them to Madagascar. Anyway, although interestingly, there's some fantastic side channels within historical analysis of all of that. Like, I once read a fantastic, amazing, crazy book called Vichy in the Tropics. So when Nazi Germany takes over France, it obviously gains access to French colonies, which are still being technically administered by the Vichy French government, but not really. And so they start hunting Jewish people in those various places as well. And in what was called French Indochina, so basically Vietnam, not exactly, the borders were a bit iffy, but whatever, just what we basically know as Vietnam. There were like 12 Jewish people that lived there, out of a population of like 20 million or something. And this incredible story of these fucking evil Nazi bastards going and trying to search out these people. They didn't actually find any of them in the end. They all managed to escape, thankfully. But they were searching for these 12 Jewish Vietnamese Jews. It was fucking mad shit. Actually, well, they were French Jews, but they were living in Vietnam. Yeah. Anyway, that's a fascinating and awful part of history. Anyway, yes, so his definition there is obviously wrong. Obviously. Zionism is an ethno-nationalist, expansionist, genocidal endeavour. If Jewish people just want to exist in that land, I'm okay with that, that's fine, whatever. That's not a problem. But that's clearly not what Zionism is.
That's what it means to some people. But to other people, it means that they have a...
No, it isn't what it means. Firstly, no word has only one definition, really. Outside of, like, specific scientific, like, you know, names and things like that. Like, when it comes to social constructs, like political endeavours or nation states or whatever, there is no one definition of anything. There are various types of Zionist, for instance. Do you think for a second that liberal Zionists believe absolutely everything that Ben Gvir thinks? Or Netanyahu thinks? No. They broadly share a Zionist political view of the world, right? But clearly a liberal Zionist has a very different approach to what they believe to be Zionism than the absolute maximalist, expansionist, Greater Israel Project version of Zionism. So your one-size-fits-all definition, based upon a dictionary that... I mean, I don't even know if there is any dictionary that defines it exactly as he defines it, but as I've described before, a dictionary is merely a snapshot of what one group of people think a word means at any given moment. As we know, in internet discourse especially, words evolve enormously quickly. For instance, if you were to take someone who spoke absolutely perfect English today, back 200 years, they would be speaking a very different type of English than the people then. They'd basically be able to communicate. It wouldn't be like a foreign language or something like that, but it would be a very different thing because words change. The way people use them change. Slang expressions come and go out of the zeitgeist all the time. Political strategies change. Political parties come and go. States come and go. The idea that there is one fucking definition of Zionism is ridiculous. Now, I've no doubt that his definition is shared by some people. But Phil Morehouse has a brain disease. Some people would just say it's arrogance, but I think it's an actual burrowing worm of self-confidence that's totally unearned. Where he thinks that he's just right about everything. Which is sort of means it's pointless talking to them, I think. Because you could never convince them of anything, regardless of what fact or argumentation you were ever to bring before them, because they think they know literally everything. So why bother talking to them? You can't ever actually talk to them, because they're not really talking to you. They're convinced they are right, and that is it.
Right to take land in the West Bank
no,
and
that's
in the Gaza
not.
Strip. Yeah, but that's what
absolutely
some
no.
people
Not even
believe it to
Israel
mean.
claim that that's what it means.
I know.
But that is what Israel are doing, and Israel claims to be the Zionist state. And so, Clearly, they do actually admit that that's what that is. Otherwise, why would Benjamin Netanyahu have a lapel pin that had the Greater Israel map on it if Zionism were not about expansion and taking other people's territory? Because the Greater Greater Israel Project contains land that is currently, legally, the sovereign territory of, I think, 6 different countries, if I'm not mistaken. There's like Egypt, Palestine, Israel itself, I suppose, whatever. Jordan, Syria, Iraq. Am I missing anyone? Did I say Lebanon? I can't remember. Anyway, so there are various countries whose territory they seek to annex in order to fulfill a weird Christian Zionist end times prophecy. Saudi Arabia and Turkey. Do they go as far north as Turkey? That's a piss take. So basically they think they want to take all of Syria then, basically. I did say Egypt. I started with Egypt. I remember that. Because they want to take all of the Sinai, don't they? Absolutely fucking mad shit. Anyway. And they want to take Kuwait. That's mental. Anyway, the point being, clearly, if Benjamin Netanyahu wants all of that shit, clearly it is about expansionism then. Hang on, they want to take Cyprus. I haven't even fucking heard they want to take Cyprus. Oh, that's mental. Okay.
Even
I know,
Israel
I know,
claim
but
that's what it
there's
means.
people who
So
out there who go,
no.
"Oh, you're a Zionist,"
No.
and you're like, "I think that Israel has a right to exist, and same with that Pakistan has a right to exist as a country. It's there, you know, not much you can do about it now." And I don't.
2 countries made up in London, ironically. Literally. The fucking Balfour Declaration is still pointed to by Israelis to this day as a reason that they're allowed to exist. Because apparently, if you're the British Foreign Secretary, you get to just parcel out land to various peoples throughout the world. And Pakistan was literally invented in London too. It's not a natural country that like evolved or something. It was the northern bit of what was the Indian British Raj. And Pakistan, even as a name, doesn't make sense really, because it's the amalgam of the names of the various parts of Pakistan. So the PA and K stand for, it's like the Khyber is the K. I think Indus or some shit like that is the I, and then Stan is Balochistan, right? And so it's like a kind of mishmash of the various parts that make up Pakistan as a name. But Pakistan as a name doesn't make sense. It's just a made-up thing, and that was literally made up by who was the fucking leader? Jinnah? No, I can't remember. Anyway, literally the building's still there. It was a fucking semi-detached townhouse in London. It was just made up. They just invented a country. Anyway. So in that sense, it does have a right to exist in the same way that Israel does, in that it sort of does and sort of doesn't. But either way, they don't get to do war and genocide against people, so...
See the point of pushing this narrative
No,
of like the country shouldn't exist.
That's anti-Semites trying to make up a new meaning for
Yes.
something. Words have meanings,
That's the problem.
and they should be
That's
used.
why you should just...
The fuck are you talking about? So again, if you have any definition that differs in any way from Phil Morehouse's obviously silly definition, you're an anti-Semite. Amazing. Amazing. I'm glad we have a note. Okay, like all countries' names are made up, but like there is a reason that like England is called England because the Angles came here, so it's the land of the Angles, Angland, right? Like that evolved because of the group that had a pre-existing name, whereas Pakistan was literally just sort of just made up on the spot by random people who didn't live in Pakistan because Pakistan didn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, that doesn't mean that England or Britain or the UK is more legitimate. I'm just saying, like, it's a modern weird construct that doesn't have historical basis. For instance, there were millions and millions of people who lived in Pakistan that weren't Muslim, and millions of Muslims that did live in what we now call India, and there was a forcible transportation of those fucking peoples. Because again, this wasn't a natural construct of nations based upon a shared religion or ethnicity or history. They just went, well, the Muslims want their own place, so we'll just parcel off this weird chunk of land and they can have that. And then these people can be India, and nothing bad will happen there. And then they had a forcible transfer of populations and millions of people got killed. Literally millions. We don't even learn that in Britain, by the way. We just went, Britain gave India its freedom. Don't look any further into that sentence. Just we did, and that's fine and normal and wonderful. Like, it's so fucking backward that we think of ourselves as a nation of freedom. Did you know, and I think this is genuinely a true statement, the most celebrated secular holiday in the world is independence from Britain. Once every 6 days, on average, around the world, a country celebrates its Independence Day from the UK. That's how many countries that exist now that we formerly ruled as an empirical fucking money pot, slave fucking colony, whatever, that we gave freedom to. But we're a nation of freedom, don't you know? Fucking mad. Honest to God.
Stay away from the word.
Yeah, you can
Z
do
word,
that,
because people
but-
misinterpret it.
But
or taking whatever
all
they
a
want to
minister,
interpret by it.
and you've got to remember. So there's two things you may be thinking here. Let me just be clear. So first of all, are you upset that she's talking about being pro-Zionist? In which case, all she's doing is explaining that she thinks Israelis and Palestinians should be able to live in harmony side by side.
That's not... Oh my fucking God, you slimy cunt. What the fuck? That's what you think Zionism is. Zionism believes that Jews and Muslims should be able to live alongside each other in peace and harmony. Why do the Israeli government keep killing them then? If that is the case, if Zionists inherently believe that they should be able to live in coexistence and peace with these people, why do they murder them all the time in prodigious numbers? Riddle me that one, cuntbag. Unbelievable.
But the other thing is this.
Shouldn't have used the Z
You-
word.
But
She
no,
shouldn't have
but
used
the
it.
you know why she's had
No, but
to.
that's bad comms again.
No,
Phil.
it's not.
Bad comms. She should have
Right,
stood up and said,
Graham.
"I unapologetically believe in Israel's
Have
right
you
to exist."
forgotten-
However, their actions in Gaza have been fucking disgusting.
Have you forgotten? I'll come to not Magenta's point in a moment because you're actually proving my point. Have you forgotten what Labour's attitude towards Israel and Jews in general was before Starmer?
Yes.
What the fuck are you talking about? The attitude towards Israel was righteous, and their attitude towards Jewish people was exactly what one would expect it to be. Which is, like, fine. Like, they're a part of Britain, they're welcome in our political party. What the fuck are you talking about? Kev, you should get the guy in the hat on the stream. He seems reasonable. Well, he seems reasonable, but, like, he's not really pushing back on the definition of Zionism stuff. He's not pushing back on that at all at this point, really. And secondly, like, he's just like, oh, it's bad comms. No, it's awful, atrocious politics. And it's awful and atrocious in terms of human rights and legality. Like, not talking about the fact that you support genocide doesn't stop the fact that your support of genocide is disgusting. You fucking cunt, man. Phil Morehouse is a fucking shithouse.
That's why they have
Yeah,
to do
I
it.
was
They
actually
have
talking
to.
about that on the show this
the the use of it, the likes of David Lammy and Rachel Reeves and everyone else saying, yes, I'm a Zionist, to make it really clear, is to avoid... There's this perception that a lot of people in Labour are anti-Semitic. And that...
Because of media lies. Yeah, that is true. There is a perception of that because because lies were told and you're repeating those lies. You're literally part of the fucking problem. But, secondly, it isn't just that they're, like, just saying they support Zionism as like mood music to say, look, we're not anti-Semitic. They're literally doing reconnaissance flights for Israel to allow Israel to do genocide. That's not just like trying to signal that they're not anti-Semitic. They're doing genocide against Palestinians as we speak.
This is a reaction to it.
And the previous leadership. I get that, Phil.
This is a reaction to it.
Yeah. And this was at a Friends of Israel
that's why
meeting
you cannot
that
be unequivocal about it.
That she was talking at. It wasn't necessarily like a public event. However...
Oh, it's okay. She only said it behind closed doors. Therefore, it's fine. As long as you hide the fact that you are actively in support of a genocide, as long as you don't admit that publicly, that's fine. Because adding deception and lies to genocide cancels each other out and makes it fine, actually. See, this is the thing. The Labour people are incapable of learning, it seems. It's not just bad communications. It's not just bad comms. Don't get me wrong, their comms are shithouse. Absolutely fucking dreadful. But that's not the real problem. If they had good policy and bad comms, they would be in a better situation. It's the fact that they have shit policy and shit comms together means they are the most unpopular government in living memory. Or since polling began, I suppose, whatever. Same sort of thing, I
guess. Those words are going to be misinterpreted. She should know that. She should have the political nous to know that if she uses the Z word, some people are going to see it as saying she is unapologetic about what's happened in Gaza. And I know that's a reach for someone like...
Well, no, she literally is saying that because she literally is unapologetic about that. Because she is the Chancellor of the Exchequer who is signing off on all of the financial spending that we're doing to aid and abet Israel's genocide. So literally, it's not a misinterpretation. It's not a misinterpretation. It's just a correct piece of analysis. She is an unapologetic Zionist. She is unapologetic about aiding and abetting genocide. That's just true. Do you have to read this now alerts are off? Well, I don't have to, but I did. I'll put the alerts back on for now. Until Gennaro annoys me again. I mean, I could change it, couldn't I? I could just change the noise alert to not annoy me, but that would involve pressing buttons, and I can't be arsed. Yeah. Don't forget, you can annoy me by getting Gennaro Gattuso to say, sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit. You can do that. I believe in you.
But for other people, that's just what they regard as Zionism. And don't forget, there's people in Israel who use the word Zionist to defend their right to go out with a gun and a Bible and kill someone in a family in the West Bank and take over their home. They say, I'm allowed to do this because I'm a Zionist. And you're like, okay, I don't want to be
people in this
associated with
country,
them.
and they daubed it all over Winston Churchill's statue yesterday.
He is a Zionist. Or was. He's dead. Can we get some laws in chat for Winnie being dead? Old Winston is dead. Winston's in a box, in a box. Winston's in a box, etc. He was a Zionist. Yeah, unapologetically so. Do I have to get the fucking... Oh, God. Churchill, Israel quote. Boom! Winston Churchill was a strong supporter of Zionism. Racist legacy in Palestine. There's a specific quote I'm looking for where he goes on about people having a right to lie in a cot or something. Hang on. Manger. That's the word manger I was looking for. Hang on. Find. Where's find again? I want to get the exact thing, chat, because I don't want to misquote it or whatever. Manger is the word, isn't it? There we go. Churchill rejected the Arab wish to stop Jewish migration to Palestine. I do not admit that the dog in the manger has the final right to the manger, though he may have lain there a very long time. I do not admit that right. I do not admit, for instance, that a great wrong was done to the Red Indians of America or the black people of Australia. I do not admit that a wrong was done to these people by the fact that a stronger race, a higher grade race, or at any rate a more worldly wise race, to put it that way, has come in and taken their place. I do not admit it. I do not think that the Red Indian had any right to say American continent belongs to us, and we aren't going to have any of these European settlers coming in here. They had not that right. They had not that power. Don't know about you, chat, but he sounds a bit like a Zionist. Call me cray cray. Also proving that Zionists are racist by their very nature.
Promote the idea that Muslims should be allowed to go around murdering non-Muslims on a global scale.
Oh, that's because you're an idiot. So they daubed on Winston Churchill. By the way, they daubed several things on Winston Churchill statue in Parliament Square this week, including Zionist and globalise the Intifada. I presume that's what he's referring to, because he's one of these fucking idiots who thinks that globalise the Intifada means kill all Jewish people or something, because he's just a fucking freak. And so that's what he's referring to when he says that. Because he's a liar.
Like, you can't attack a minister for saying something.
Okay, so what
based
does the
on
word
some
Islamist
nutter.
mean? Does that mean that's someone who really likes Islam?
No.
No, it doesn't, does it?
The other thing, sorry, I was going to come to this point. Someone made
Sorry.
a point. I wanted
Go
to
on.
come to it. I've got to find it now. Saying, Phil, Zionism existed before Israel existed. Yes, it did. Zionism was the idea that the Israeli state should exist, right? Now, before the Israeli state should exist, it would have been much more normal to be anti-Zionist, because it's like, hang on a minute, you'd have to commit genocide to do what you want to do. So at the time, yeah, I'd have been an unapologetic anti-Zionist, and so were a lot of people. But now we're in the position...
Hang on. Are you about to say, my dear boy, that now they've done genocide and taken that land, now you can't be against it? Is your literal position about to be, and I didn't get this far in the video, so I don't know. I stopped, like, once they started talking about Zionism and stuff, I was like, I'll save it, I'll do it live. Fuck it, I'll write it and we'll do it live, right? I really hope he doesn't go and do what I'm suggesting he might be about to do, which is to argue that because they've now done the genocide and taken the land and invaded and taken people's houses, we now can't oppose the actions of the Israeli government because that would be anti-Semitic, because they're already there because they stole the land. Is that actually what he's about to say, chat? Is he about to say that shit? Because if he does, then my already rock bottom opinion of him will somehow drill through the earth and go out into space or something. Okay, let's take a deep breath, chat. Come on.
Where it does exist, it has existed, and like almost every country in the world, it's existed by cracking skulls and moving people out the way.
Yes.
Now that it does exist, and it's existed for multiple generations, and it's now established, how, and there are multiple ways to be an anti-Zionist, but how can you be an anti-Zionist at this point without saying, well, we need to go back to that time, which basically then means you now need to commit genocide against Jewish Israelis?
dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt.
He went there, chap. He actually said it. I didn't need to say it for him. Apparently, opposing one genocide means you have to be in support of a different genocide. It's difficult to really parse out that level of stupidity. It's difficult to really get a handle on exactly how profoundly moronic that statement was. I suppose we'll just go back to basics, right? And I can't explain this without being patronising to him. And I don't want to. I'd like to be able to explain this to him like he were an adult. But apparently he has the mindset of a 6-year-old or something. So, like, I'm going to have to talk to him like that. Okay, Phil. I can only really speak for myself as an anti-Zionist. I don't represent any other person or group. But I think what I'm about to say is broadly accepted by a pretty significant chunk of anti-Zionist people.
The return of the sausages.
Not that bit.
Pick a genocide.
Not that bit. That's not me. That's the different person. We'll get to that in a second. Opposing the actions of the Israeli government and the so-called Israeli Defense Force in their murderous, genocidal, continuous, repeated onslaughts against the Palestinian people. And indeed, more broadly, Israeli settlers who go in and steal people's houses and burn their farms down in order to take their land and that sort of thing. It's not about removing Jewish people from the Middle East or the Levant or Israel or whatever. Your argument of might makes right has unfortunately been proven to some extent true. The idea of international law is obviously a phantom. It doesn't really exist. It's used as a club to beat geopolitical enemies whilst never being enforced against geopolitical friends, allies, whatever. But that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it fair or just, or indeed legal. No one is suggesting, outside of some crazy lunatic anti-Semites, that any Jewish person be destroyed or killed or removed or whatever. One does have to say that you have to hand back land to the Palestinian people. Houses that have been stolen by settlers have to be handed back to either the people if they're still alive, which unfortunately they're unlikely to be given that Israel keeps killing people. But those people have to have their houses back, or their descendants have to have those houses back. You have to have a right of return for people expelled during the Nakba and their descendants too. So there will be some accommodations need to be made, undoubtedly. But this is not genocide. If that is your understanding of the word genocide, your understanding of the word genocide is as piss poor as your understanding of the word Zionism that you exposed earlier. No one is suggesting a genocide against Jewish people. Even the people who you don't like saying globalise the enchilada, etc. That wasn't a misspeak, by the way. I purposely said enchilada because fuck it, why not? You are a profoundly stupid human being, Phil Morehouse. I don't know how else to explain that to you, other than just to basically explain it and then call you a fucking moron. Because you are. To put no fine point on it. A fucking moron. A moronic fucking moron. We are all diminished in spirit for having heard you say the stupid thing that, like, when I made that analysis before he said it, I assumed he wasn't going to say it. I assumed he wasn't going to stoop that fucking low. I was wrong, chap. I was incorrect. And unlike Phil Morehouse, I am capable of accepting when I'm wrong about a thing. He isn't, though, but you know. We'll carry on for another couple of minutes. We'll see if this gets any spicier. But, yeah, he's an idiot.
Living there. Do you know what I mean? This is the...
I don't know what you mean. Sorry, we had a thing, didn't we? Sorry. Did someone raid? Did I miss a raid or something? Thank you, Dingus, with Biddy Bits. Did we have a raid? Was it a YouTube raid? I don't know. Anyway, go and follow whoever raided, I think. Whatever. What's this? British Israelism. What the fuck is this? British Israelism, also known as Anglo-Israelism, is a pseudo-historical belief that the people of Great Britain are genetically, racially, and linguistically the direct descendants of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. What? Based on... With roots in the 16th century, British Israelism was inspired by several 19th century English writings, such as John Wilson's 1840 Israelitish Origin. From the 1870s onward, numerous independent British Israelite organisations were set up throughout the British Empire as well as the United States. As of the earliest 21st century, a number of these organisations are still active. In the United States, the idea gave rise to the Christian identity movement. The central tenets of British Israelism have been regarded as pseudo-scientific and refutable by archaeological, ethnological, genetic and linguistic research by mainstream sources. Yeah, that'll be about right. There were loads of these crank people in the late 19th century, by the way. There's a guy that's basically forgotten by... but certainly by Britain, and I think probably large parts of Germany as well, called Houston Stuart Chamberlain was his name. I don't think he was related to Chamberlain, the leader of Britain, but I don't know. He was British though, right? And he was a fascinating lunatic, and I mean genuinely, like he was mentally fucking ill. And he was a German supremacist, even though he was British, right? And he wrote a book called, I think it was like Foundations of the 19th Century or something like that. And it was genuinely one of the great inspirations of early Nazism. Was done by an Englishman, believe it or not. And literally, towards the end of his life, Chamberlain met Hitler, literally like a couple of years before he died, and was they formed a strong friendship over the course of his last couple of years. And literally, when Chamberlain died in Germany, the Nazi press, because the Nazis hadn't gained power yet, but they were like, you know, a growing political force, and they had national newspapers and stuff, and they gave over pages and pages of like memorial to this guy, because he was so like influential in terms of the philosophy of Nazism. And yet he's completely fucking forgotten. Now, don't get me wrong, he deserves to be forgotten in one sense, in a kind of moral sense, but in a historical sense, like, he was an important figure whose writings were fucking mental, of course, but it happened. Like, the writings of ancient Romans were mental as well, but that should still be chronicled and remembered, I think. History is not about choosing the bits that are convenient and nice, because frankly...
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
That's a perfect piece of timing, by the way. Because I was about to say that there are virtually no examples of times where everything's lovely and nice. It doesn't happen. There's always like a war or a famine or something going on. But anyway, thank you, Charlie Fay, for that perfectly timed intervention. Welcome as an awesome tier member on YouTube. I don't know why I called it that, because there's only one tier, so it's not like you can be a not awesome tier person, but you know. This same clip is aimed at Phil Morehouse. What's this? Yeah.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Literally. I might put that on the soundboard. It's a good clip. Thank you.
Ultimately the problem. Nice. So the reason why Zionism hasn't changed, this is what an important thing, this is the point I was making. Zionism hasn't changed its meaning.
Yes, it has. Yeah, obviously it has. What are you talking about? You think the Zionists pre-Holocaust have the same interpretation of Zionism as those post-Holocaust? As if the Holocaust didn't happen? Are you fucking... Are you actually arguing that point? Would you contend that obvious point? Because after the last thing you said, I can't take anything for granted. You might even be that stupid. Zionism was a genuinely fringe and mostly hated, and I mean hated by Jewish people, opinion within Jewish European life. Zionists were not trusted. Okay? For instance, a little known aspect of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising was that one of the reasons it took so long to actually organise that uprising, and it didn't happen until the final liquidations were happening, was partly because no one wanted to work with the Zionists. The Zionists only made up a small percentage of the overall population, but so disruptive and hated and insular and just wankery they were, no one wanted to work with them. The liberals didn't want to work with them, the communists didn't want to work with them, the local Polish underground didn't want to work with them. So it was sort of impossible to really coagulate the full power of those that were remaining inside the ghetto. And it wasn't until the Zionists put aside their absolute determination to be cunts that it actually happened. But that doesn't get mentioned anymore, because the only people writing this kind of history, unfortunately, are Zionists. And they don't mention that bit. In the same way that I think I've talked about this today, in the past, sorry, about how the reason that we think that Nero was like the byword for despotism and evil is not because he was actually any worse than any other Roman emperor, because he wasn't. He was just a regular run-of-the-mill shithouse man that was an emperor. That's it. He was no better or worse than virtually any other emperor, really. The reason we think of him that way is because the histories of the ancient Roman world were written by Christians. Now, the reason that that's important is because the Great Fire in Rome that is blamed on Nero, you know, the old thing about him fiddling whilst Rome burned, wasn't true. He wasn't in Rome when the fire happened. It didn't arrive back in Rome from Ostia, which was Actium, sorry. It's now called Ostia. A seaside town, sort of like the Hamptons for ancient Rome, I suppose, for the Americans. Basically a rich people's getaway area, a couple of days' march away from Rome, right? He was there, so he wasn't even in fucking Rome when this happened. But what he did do was a comfortable scapegoat he found for the fire was to blame it on Christians, who at the time were just a tiny sect of religious extremists. So it was perfectly fine to do it, and he killed loads of them. Now, that's bad. He shouldn't have done that, but that was no worse than stuff that emperors had always fucking done. There was no worse than any emperor did to the fucking Germans or the Britannic peoples or whatever. That's what they did. But the Christians became a very, very big, massively culturally and politically and religiously important group throughout all of Europe in the following centuries, and wrote the history and so demonised the man to the point where he made a horse a senator. No, he didn't. If you actually look at the history, what he did was he told a joke at a dinner party where he said it would be better if I made my horse a senator. And he said that specifically so that the other people at that thing would go out and tell senators that he thinks you're literally more stupid than his horse. He was saying it would be funny, or it would be better if I made a horse a senator, because the human senators are dog shit. But the Christians twist it, and all of a sudden everyone thinks he made a fucking horse a senator. He didn't. Simple narratives don't tend to last under scrutiny, do they?
Anti-Zionism has, because anti-Zionism used to simply mean we don't think Jewish people should go in and kick Arabs out just to make a home for themselves.
No, again, that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Firstly, it did comprise that, sure, but anti-Zionists, of which, again, up until the Holocaust, most Jewish people were anti-Zionists. Understandably, following the Holocaust, they went, yeah, maybe we should get our own do our own thing. Because the Christians damn near killed all of us. So the ones that remained went, yeah, fuck this shit, we're out. And left. Right? Understandable in the circumstances. Anyway, the point being, the vast majority of people didn't think that ethnic supremacism and hiving yourself off was a good idea, actually. Because bizarrely, unlike the Nazis used to say Jewish people couldn't integrate. Actually, they integrated way more than the Nazis ever fucking would tell the truth about. They were incredibly well integrated. Actium was in Greece. Hang on. Was it Ostia? Hang on, no. No, what am I thinking of then? Sorry, have I gone fucking mad? Oh, Actium is in Greece. What am I thinking of? Where was he then? Hang on. Antium, not Actium. Apologies. No, you're quite right. It was Antium, not Actium. Easy mistake to make in the circumstances. I apologise. Just to make historical truths there. Yeah. The Bund movement have a fascinating history. Anti-Zionist Jews. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Again, up until the Holocaust, most Jewish people were anti-Zionist. So the idea that anti-Zionism as a concept hasn't changed, or indeed that Zionism as a concept hasn't changed, is ludicrous. Absolutely stupid.
Whereas now, what does it mean? Because they're there.
What a word means, what a term means, changes with time. And it also, in this particular time that we are living...
Yeah, Palestinians are a Semitic people, yeah. The Semites... Actually, for a start off, most Jewish people aren't Semitic in any kind of real sense anymore. Now, that's not to say that it shouldn't be considered anti-Semitism or anything like that. That's what the word means, because that's what it's come to mean. But a lot of Jewish people aren't of the old Semitic, ethnic groupings, right? Some of them are, certainly, and there are lots of Arabs who are Semites. It's just true, yeah. But when we say anti-Semitism, we don't mean anti-Palestine. So, linguistic, yes, Semitic is a linguistic group, yeah. Rather than, what did I say, a racial group or something? Anyway, yeah. Yeah, which is, I mean, we literally talked about this yesterday, didn't we, with No Justice, how in Britain, most Jewish people throughout the course of Jewish history in the UK haven't spoken Hebrew. They speak Yiddish. Now, of course, lots of Jewish people do speak Hebrew as well, but the kind of language most traditionally spoken by Jewish people in Britain, other than English, obviously, is Yiddish. And there's a fascinating history of Jewish culture in parts of London. For instance, did you know that the word bagel is spelt differently in British Jewish Yiddish history? It's pronounced and spelt boigle. There are literally 2 shops in London that are called the Boigle Shop, which sell like they're basically Jewish bakeries. It's spelled B-A-I-G-E-L, as opposed to bagel, as you would have in American English or whatever. Because they did their own cultural thing. It was their own fascinating little development. which shouldn't be erased because fucking Israeli supremacist dickheads want to have one type of Jewishness. It's fucking nonsense. Anyway. The Bay of Gulls was the British version of the Bay of Pigs. That is a silly joke, but I thank you.
In at the moment, the word Zionist is incredibly subjective, and there's someone in the chat here saying we all know what Zionist means, Phil, and it's like it means something different to one person in the chat to another. There are two people in the chat who are using the same word and saying, well,
one of them is wrong,
this, and the other one.
No, Phil, no, words don't fucking work like that. There isn't just one definition that never changes. What the fuck are you talking? You're such an arrogant cunt. Honest to God, I've grown to really dislike this guy over the course of this last fucking half an hour. Like, you're such an arrogant prick. You genuinely think you're right about everything. And it's fucking infuriating. Know-it-all cunts like you are the worst of it. You really are. Especially when you're so wrong. It's not like you're just a little bit wrong. You're like, well, they already did a genocide, so we should just be okay with that. Was literally the argument you fucking made, you cock.
No,
one of them is
not,
wrong.
Because this is the way language evolves.
A word, no.
Stay away from it.
Word
Just
means
don't
the same
use
thing.
that word and be
All right,
very clear in what you mean, because it's not clear. This is the big problem with it. It is not a clear term. It's not. It might be to you, Phil.
It is to anyone with a dictionary.
No, it's
not. And firstly, every diction will have a slightly different interpretation because they're subjective things written by human beings. They don't grow on trees, you fucking arrogant twat. Fucking know-it-all prick, man.
No, people don't walk around with it. Well, I suppose they do walk around with a dictionary.
No, they're supposed to. How the fuck do you learn what words mean?
No, but this...
By talking. Because, believe it or not, no one learns what words mean strictly from a dictionary, because for a start off, how many times do you even go to a dictionary? I can't even remember the last time I went to a fucking dictionary, either online, certainly not in paper. I don't even have a paper fucking dictionary in my house, I don't think. I think I have a French to English dictionary, but that's about it, just in case they invade, you know, or in case I need to invade them. You never know. 2 for the price of 1. Yeah, people learn what words mean by listening to other people talk. They listen to other people talk to each other, and they talk to the people, and they interact, and you learn what words mean that way. Other than, like I say, actually, I'm probably a bad example, because I think I told the story the other day about how we used to get pocket money when we were kids. My dad was always really big on us getting an education, because he came from a place in rural Ireland where basically you didn't get an education. They had schools, but like no, his family were fucking rural and worked on a farm, so he just worked on the farm and rarely went to school. You know, not stupid man, just not a formally educated man. Anyway, and so he was always obsessed with us. We had to read, we had to fucking learn stuff and blah blah blah. And so the pocket money was you'd get 10 pence per one you got right. You had to give you 10 words from the dictionary, and one week it'd be A, and then the next it'd be B, and so on and so on, and then you'd start again, right? And you had to learn these 10 words. You had to learn how to spell them, and what the definition of it was, right? And for each one you got right, you got 10 pence. And I think I'd never got one wrong, because I purposely was like, I'm gonna fucking get that 10 pence. So he understood. He understood the power of that money to a working class kid. He knew what that was about, and he was a perfect piece of parenting in a sense, right? It worked. It was a very fine investment in terms of pocket money, rather than just giving you it for nothing. You had to fucking earn it, and you were improved as a person for it. What did 10 pence get you back then? You could get a packet of crisps for 10 pence back then. Packet of Walker's crisps, and it wasn't just like a 10% of crisps at the bottom and then just a bag of air. It was an actual bag of crisps for 10 pence. Fact. So for £1, you could get penny sweets for a thing. You could get an individual sweet for a penny. You could get 100 penny sweets. Fuck yes. My favourite, bonbons. I don't know if people remember bonbons. Do they still sell them? Little powdered balls of like toffee, and they'd have like dusting on the outside that was like different flavours and stuff. Fucking love that shit. Strawberry, give me a pound of strawberry bonbons. quarter of strawberry bonbons, man. Fuck yes. Do they still do bonbon? I might have to get some. Although I don't know if my teeth could fucking handle it nowadays. They were very, very tough to chew. Anyway. Yes. Oh, strawberry. I was a strawberry bonbon. Yeah. Toffee was fine, but strawberry was the best. Lemon. Oh, you're demented. Go. Get out. Fucking lemon, you freak. Anyway. The point is, I'm a bad example because I did learn lots of words' meanings from dictionaries, but most people who are normal and don't have mental fathers, mental if positive and effective fathers, but mental nonetheless, don't learn words from looking in a fucking dictionary. Especially in the modern world, because, like, people don't fucking read anymore. Bon is French for good. Indeed it is. Anyway, the point being, most people don't learn meanings of words from dictionaries. They learn them from general discourse that they engage in and that they hear. Especially because there are loads of slang terms that aren't in dictionaries. Unless you count Urban Dictionary, which you really shouldn't because it isn't really a dictionary. It's a shitposting website for freaks. Anyway.
This is the thing, words change their meanings over time, and you've said yourself,
No,
being
people-
an anti-Zionist
people co-opt
changed after Israel.
No, Phil. No, you are just actually wrong about that. People don't co-opt them. People use them differently. This is the annoying thing. Okay, right. I'm gonna go on a linguistics rant for a second. Right, this attitude towards language really pisses me off. The fucking the Académie Française in France do this so myopically, so briefcase-ishly, if that's a phrase that I can use, where they think that there has to be one standard version of a language and it can never change. It can never develop and evolve, which is myopic because your set time of where you think the language was correct is one moment in time. At any moment before then, and at any moment after then, the language was fucking different. It reminds me of the Amish, who have decided that technological advance was fine up until like 1840. And then it became bad and evil. Why have you chosen that one specific moment in time where it was fine, and then everything after that was bad? What sense does that make? Because I'm sure there were people 500 years before that would think that your barn building techniques were the work of Satan, defying the gravity that Lord put upon this earth, or some shit like that, right? It's weird pedantry about, like, this moment in time is correct and it can never fucking change and evolve, which is bollocks, because it did change and evolve. The moment you chose to accept it as absolutely correct was an evolution of the moment before then, when it supposedly wasn't correct according to you. And the moment after it, it developed and changed to something different. So your version of that language no longer fundamentally exists, because language is about its usage by people. It doesn't exist in a fucking void. If people stop using a word, it doesn't exist anymore. Not to say that it shouldn't be chronicled as a historical thing, but fundamentally a word exists by people using it, either speaking it or writing it. Either in text form or with an actual pen or whatever, right? People using a word brings it into existence in the way that they wish it to be. Because, not to quote fucking C.S. Lewis too much, but a word means exactly what I mean it to mean is literally true. There might be a generally accepted definition of a word, but if someone uses it differently, that doesn't mean it's incorrect. It means they're using it in a way they want to use it. And ultimately, language is about the transmission of information from one person to another. And if one person chooses to try and transmit that information in a way that is unorthodox, that's absolutely their right to do so, and it doesn't mean that they're incorrect. Language is a wonderfully malleable thing. Stop trying to put a fucking straitjacket on it, you fucking brain-dead simpletons. You're killing culture. Stop it! Here endeth the sermon.
Israel was established.
Yeah, but that's because we're going from a time where Zionism was a hypothetical thing to it's now a thing.
Okay, all right. I'm
So
not
it
even
had to
talking
change.
about
Anti-Zionism
people who
had
don't
to
think that
change.
Israel has a right to exist. I'm talking about people in Israel using the term Zionist to...
Phil, how can anti-Zionism change without Zionism changing? That doesn't make sense. Like, they sort of exist, not cooperatively, but they exist as a kind of tandem to one another. Does that make sense? You can't realistically change one without changing the other, because a critique of something depends upon the existence and exact the composition of that thing. So if that thing changes, automatically you have to change your critique of that thing, or indeed remove parts of it, or remove all of it if it's no longer worthy of critique in some way, because it's been perfected or whatever. So if Zionism itself changes, if anti-Zionism changes, that must mean that Zionism itself has changed, because they exist, like I say, as a kind of a play off one another. If Zionism stays absolutely static, why the fuck would anti-Zionism have changed? Does that make sense, chat? Am I explaining myself? I don't know.
To defend themselves against criticism for what they're doing in Gaza or what they're doing in the West Bank.
But that's no different to Russians saying that they should have Ukraine because Ukrainians are really Russians. That's still using a word incorrectly.
Yes.
I mean, okay, no. No Russian claims that a Ukrainian is Russian. They claim that that land should belong to Russia, but they don't actually... I don't think there's anyone claiming that they are Russian. Right? There are people who believe they should belong in either in an empire or in a union with the Russian people, in like the Soviet Union, but like not communist or something. And indeed there are people who believe they should just do the communist Soviet Union again, with all of those former Soviet republics and things, which would be interesting considering many of those are now, or at least some of them anyway, are NATO. But either way, regardless, no one's claiming they're actually Russian. But you do raise an interesting point there, Phil, actually, in that what Russia is doing to the Ukrainian people is both illegal and genocidal. And what the Israeli people are doing to the Palestinian people is both illegal and genocidal. If you accept that it would be silly to back the claims of the Russian government over Ukrainian territory and their right to kill Ukrainian people, why is it okay for the Chancellor of the Exchequer to back Israel's illegal genocidal actions towards the Palestinians and their annexation of land from the Palestinian people? Especially given that we have, at least now in Britain, accepted and formally accepted the statehood of Palestine. So a nation that we are accepting the statehood of, we are also okay with foreign countries like Israel annexing the territory of that state. So how can we realistically hold a consistent line against the Russian government in their annexation of Ukrainian territory? Because surely might makes right, doesn't it? Just like Donald Trump said, we can take Greenland because Denmark can't stop us. The Israeli government can take the West Bank and Gaza because the Palestinians can't stop them. Now, to be fair, the Ukrainians have kind of stopped Russia, but that's by the by. Either way, the idea of might makes right, if we're going to do this, means that you can stick your international law up your arse. Doesn't mean anything anymore. And it's especially a bad idea for Britain because we are not the military power we once were. In a world of might makes right, we're in trouble. Maybe let's not encourage the powerful nations of the earth to pick on less powerful nations, because that's not a fight we're ultimately going to win.
I'm a teacher.
Yes.
You're not going to ever get me to agree that people can use words incorrectly.
I'm not saying.
What the? I mean, I think he means by that that it would be okay for them to use words in ways he thinks are incorrect, rather than the actual wording of the sentence he used. But regardless of that, I don't give a fuck if you're a teacher. You can stick your faux pedagogical airs right up your fucking sphincter, mate. You're just wrong. And also, it's really embarrassing that Britain has people who are supposedly educated, and indeed are themselves educators, who are so profoundly ignorant and spout utter shite like this. That's worrying. Future generations taught by these kinds of people are not going to be well-rounded, knowledgeable, thoughtful individuals, are they? Or at least are far less likely to be. But anyway, he's a teacher, so apparently that means he must be right. Honestly, middle-class people, even northern middle-class people, are cunts. They just are. There are so many of them. And don't get me wrong, if you're a middle-class person who's a comrade, fine. But, like, you know, actually, if you're middle-class and you're a comrade, you presumably already understand what I mean by that. They're just... A lot of middle-class people are just wankers. Like this. They think they're right. They think they should just run everything. They think they're fucking God's gift. Absolute shithouses.
They should. I'm saying they do. Are you denying that they do use it incorrectly? Because we've just seen it in the chat. There's a bunch of people in the chat.
But that's their
fault.
fault.
Who would say,
like,
no,
it's
Phil,
not
that's
the
not
fault.
what it means to us.
I don't think ignorance is the fault of people who use terms correctly.
You know what? Emma Stone randomly appearing on the screen is a nice way to end things. Because fuck this. What a twat. A man who uses words incorrectly going on about how other people use words incorrectly. I won't waste my time. Hey, hello Sister Rose. Everyone go and follow Sister Rose immediately. Albeit that I am now about to end, but you should still go and do that. Thank you, Wayward Historian, for gifting a sub to Sister Rose. Phil Moratorium, ? Yes. Well, I mean, chat. I am generally speaking in favour of democracy. You know this. I'm generally a fan of democracy, and as I made the point last night, one of the bits that I remember saying was that for me socialism is actually an extension of democracy. It's an extension of democracy not just from the political realm but into the economic realm. That you have democratic control over your workplace in a way that you have absolutely no control over right now. Regardless, this is not a democratic space. I care not for your votes or your incredibly wise counsel a moratorium on any particular type of content. I will do the content I want to make. And that is it. I hope you join me in this endeavour. And you're very welcome to. But ultimately, I enjoy shouting at cunts. And Phil is a cunt. So I will continue to do so. But I will take I take your vote as a standalone comment and move past it. Friendly reminder that all polls of this type are labelled as non-binding. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sort of doing a joke bit. Like, I do take into account people's opinions, but ultimately, I sort of don't. I just sort of do whatever I wanted to. You know that. Like, if you're still here, you understand what this channel is and what it's about. Kev will just ignore it and mock us. Yeah, absolutely. Of course. 100%. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this super duper fucking awesome stream. Very well planned, wasn't it? Anyway, I'll raid you into someone else, and I'll be back. Well, presumably we'll be doing Laura Koonsberg with with No Justice on Sunday. I haven't firmed that up or anything. We haven't contacted one another, but I assume that will happen. I don't know. Oh, no, well, No Justice. Speak of the devil, and she will appear. No Justice is going, so I'll just send you over there. And say good night to you all. Free Palestine. And you know what? Free Britain from dickheads. Oh, she's not going on Twitch, is she? Ah, for fuck's sake. Okay, well, I'll have to find someone else on Twitch then. Who is going on Twitch? The Noisy Immigrant is going on Twitch, so I'll send you over there. And, yeah, see you all tomorrow. Stay beautiful. And, of course, as always, no pass around.